After dethroning the #1 team in the Cape Cod Baseball League, the Firebirds are back at home today facing the Brewster Whitecaps. Dylan Pescatore and Ian Nicholas here on the Birds Broadcast Network. Ian, what a game it was last night. 5-0 deficit after 4.5. The Firebirds bounce back with 4 in the bottom of the 5th, and then they come back with 2 to walk it off in the bottom of the 9th. This team seems to play up to the top opponents, and they just dethroned, like I said, the top team in the league.
Yeah, Orleans' last 2 wins, you could argue, are against the 2 most talented teams in the league, in Cotuit and Bourne. But the Birds don't care about raw talent. They don't care where you went to school. They care about keeping the game close and not giving up. Give a lot of credit to the Eddie King 2-run home run that I think put this game a little bit on its head and sparked a 4-run inning in the 5th. Orleans with a jolt of energy there. Bit of blah innings in between, but came back, showed the power in the 9th inning with the home run, but also the patience with 3 straight walks to win the game. It was beautiful. It was unreal. You couldn't have written it any better.
A 5-0 comeback. Now moving over to the pitching side today, they face the Brewster Whitecaps, a team they're 4-0 against, and they face, the Whitecaps do, Derek Clark, his first start for the Firebirds this season, but he's been a monster out of the bullpen.
Oh, he's been great. I mean, he's an all-star for a reason, one of the ERA leaders in the league because, it's not because he's big. It's not because he throws 95. He was joking around before the season saying my fastball shows up as a changeup. You're not supposed to be able to dominate in the Cape Cod Baseball League as a D2 player from Northwood University. But Derek Clark doesn't care. He's an absolute dog. He's a menace on the mound with the best demeanor in the league, and he bites hard. There's a reason why he's transferring to West Virginia. It's because he pounds his zone, and his fastball has so much life to it. Even though it's not the fastest, it moves well, it tunnels well. Derek Clark, in his first start, started for 3 years at Northwood. He's up to the task tonight.
Clark gets the start, but a full 9 in the lineup for the Firebirds. Ian, give me a player you expect to click tonight.
I like Colin Tuft. I mean, so many names in this lineup are already doing really well, so I want to try to pick a player who has shown us a little bit, but not a ton. He's only 3 for 18 on this summer, but in his one big game against a good team in Cotuit, he had 2 doubles. So I think Colin Tuft playing in center field where he is oh so good, actually playing in right field tonight, Eddie King in center field. Playing in right field, he's good defensively. I think he could have an extra base hit or 2 tonight.
Colin Tuft, number 9 in the order. Let's go to Sammy Miller, who talks more about that patience that the Firebirds showed in last night's 6-5 victory.
Patience isn't always easy, but it's always worth it, and it was on full display last night as Eddie King Jr. looked out onto the diamond and saw the bases loaded. Now, he could have very well easily swung on a ball because of the pure excitement of the ball possibly going out of the park for the 2nd time that game, but he didn't. He told me after the game that he took a deep breath and he focused on being patient and waited for the pitch that he liked, and that ended up being the walk-off victory. Now, don't get me wrong, this patience hasn't happened overnight. It's been an ongoing theme for the Firebirds all season long. In the beginning of the season, they went on a 5-game losing streak, and instead of throwing in the towel, they put their head down and put in the work. They also trusted the process, and there is no stopping the Firebirds right now as they look to get the 5th straight victory over the Brewster Whitecaps today. Guys, back to you.
Sammy, patience is a virtue, and for one player on this Firebirds team, Jonathan Gonzalez, he had to wait his turn to start. Start of the year out of a bullpen, was named a starter, and named an all-star, and now he's named the co-pilot of Dylan Pescatore in an interview. Dylan, you're with Jonathan right now.
Thank you, Ian. Dylan Pescatore here with Jonathan Gonzalez out of Stetson, left-handed pitcher. Jonathan, you pitched yesterday, your first start. How did you feel out there against the top team in the Cape Cod Baseball League?
Yeah, I was excited to be out there for my first start. Been coming out of relief for a while now, so just kind of mixing things up. Felt pretty good. Changeup was on. Had trouble locating the fastball in a little bit, but nonetheless got some ground balls that let my defense work, and just happy we came out with a win.
You had pretty good results last night against a 1-9 lineup for Cotuit that has bashers 1 through 9. How did you feel, and how much confidence can you take away out of that start?
Yeah, I mean, I just like pitching to my strengths and hoping for the best. I mean, throwing a lot of fastballs and mixing in some changeups. Hope to get some swing and misses and some ground balls.
You started at Stetson a little bit this year, then you went into the bullpen to start the summer. Now you're back starting for the Firebirds due to need. How did it feel changing your routine and going back to starting?
I mean, I've been accustomed to change for the last 2 years. I mean, I've started and relieved at school, so it wasn't too bad. Just kind of went back to my old ways starting and prepared that way.
The Firebirds pitching has really been the backbone of this team, continuously keeping runs off the board from the opponents. How do you feel as a staff you guys stand right now?
We're good. I mean, we had a few guys go because of draft purposes, but we got some new guys that just came in, and they're gelling well with the staff. So I think we're good for the rest of the summer.
And then last question, Jonathan. 2 wins in a row for the Firebirds. They continue on. Walk-off loss against Wareham. Walk-off win yesterday. How do you take it in? 2 weeks to go. Final stretch. What's the message to the group?
Yeah, I think we're playing a good ball. Just gotta stay on a swivel and not get too high or too low, and just keep playing good baseball. I feel like we've been pretty close in every game.
That's Jonathan Gonzalez. I'm Dylan Pescatore. Let's send it back to Ian Nicholas on the Birds Broadcast Network.
Jonathan Gonzalez got to start yesterday. Dylan, thanks so much. Tonight, it's another all-star reliever who's making his first start of the summer, and Derek Clark. First pitch for Clark and the Orleans Firebirds is at 6:30, just a few moments. That's all we got for Scorching Start, but it's Birds and Whitecaps when we come back in just a few.
The back hits tonight are Isaac and Kale. The umpires behind the plate, John Butka. At first, Jacob Ashworth. At third, David Martinez. The Orleans Firebirds. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please rise and remove your caps for the singing of the national anthem. Tonight's singer is Terrence Brady. Terry is a resident of Eastham. He's an actor, singer, and director at the Academy of Performing Arts in Orleans.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rock
The Birds are back home after a great, a gutty, a awesome comeback performance last night against Kituitt, from 5-0 down to a 6-5 victory on a walk-off walk by Eddie King. The Firebirds are looking to make it 2 in a row today against a team they're already 4-0 against this season. Hello and welcome everybody. Dylan Pescatore and Ian Nicholas here on the Birds Broadcast Network for another night of Firebirds baseball here on Monday, July 17th. A gorgeous night here at Eldredge as the Birds look to make it 2 straight.
Yes, and against a team, like you said, Orleans has dominated so far this year. 4-0 on the year against Jamie Shevchek's crew, the reigning East Division champs. In the last win against the Birds against the Whitecaps. Wow, it was such an impressive win. I couldn't get the words out right now. It was 13-2. It was dominant. It was downpour rain. The offense for the first time this year looked alive and well for Orleans, just like it did in the back half of yesterday's game against a really great team, the Kituitt Cavaliers. So yeah, you got to hope that offense comes back alive.
An offense that's scored 4 runs in the bottom of the 5th, and then 2 more in the bottom of the 9th. Let's get you set up here. Jonas Sebring leads off for the Whitecaps against the first-time starter but long-time Firebird, Derek Clark. First time he's starting this season. He's been in the bullpen for the whole summer. Now he gets to start off a game. His first pitch, a fastball that swung through by Sebring. Let's go over the defense for the Firebirds to start this one off in the first. Eddie Micheletti Jr., Eddie King, and Colin Tuff from left to right in the outfield from third to first. Penny, Farrow, Oyama, and Hallback. Pitches inside. Carpellotti does the catching for Clark, who is second in the Cape Cod Baseball League in ERA with a 1.35 in 20 innings pitched. He was also named an All-Star yesterday. Popped up on the infield. Ball back. Looking forward and calling off. Now Oyama takes it and will make the first out of the inning.
2 All-Star starters on the field today for Orleans. Derek Clark on the mound, not starting in the game, but Jack Penny at third, and Mayo just caught that pop-up. Joe Oyama, both All-Stars. And to be an All-Star in this league, pretty great. Brewster leads the league in All-Stars with 7.
7 for them. Firebirds came in with a lot of their own. Matt Hallback at first base is an All-Star. Jonathan Gonzalez, who started last night against Kituitt, also an All-Star for this squad. The batter swinging through the first pitch is Davis Diaz. Plays third base tonight for the Whitecaps. Clark, who in his last 9 1/3 innings pitched, has allowed no runs in 20 innings. Total, a 1.35 ERA. Off the end of the bat, Hallback gobbles it up and will touch first for out number 2.
Diaz, another All-Star starter. He's starting at third base for the East Division team, but Derek Clark doesn't care who he faces. That's the mentality he's had all summer long. From Division II Northwood, now transferring to West Virginia to continue his collegiate career. Pitches his heart out and gets a lot of weak contact.
Brock Tibbetts bats third for the Whitecaps. Takes the pitch inside. Tibbetts out of Indiana. Gone on a little bit of a power struggle so far this summer. 76 at-bats, only 2 for extra base hits. And they were both doubles. Still none over the fence for the Hoosier.
He's still 10th in the league in batting average, though, so only 2 doubles on the year, like you said. One of them came against Orleans.
In the middle of the order. There's a ball into the gap. Eddie King goes over. He lets it drop in front of him. Tibbetts takes a big turn at first, but will head right back. 2-out single for Tibbetts. Brewster gets their first hit of the night.
Yeah, he's been heating up. He was 6 for his last 16 in his previous 5 games headed into tonight. That broke a 1 for 17 stretch, and who cares about extra base hits? He is so important at the top of this order for Jamie Shevchek's team. He's been super consistent. Jared Jones, not so much, but this guy's got a lot of power.
Here's James Tibbs. Lefty swings through the fastball at the top of the zone. Tibbs was just named a few minutes ago to the Home Run Derby, which will be taking place on Saturday before the All-Star actual game in Harwich. Check over on Tibbetts. He had to scurry back. He gets there in time. Tibbs along with another Brewster. Jared Jones, who's on deck, both in that Home Run Derby. None for the Firebirds as Tibbs puts it down the left field line and foul.
Yeah, Tibbs tied for third in the league in home runs with 4. Probably wouldn't be competing in the Derby if it wasn't for his performances against Orleans. Half of those home runs against the Birds. They know just how dangerous he is in the heart of this order.
Coming from the left side, the 0-2 from Clark is high. And he's been not only a great bat for Brewster against Orleans, but he's been pretty much the only bat for Brewster against Orleans this series so far. 4-0 Orleans is.
He's starting to heat up against the rest of the league, too.
1-2. Got the tip of the bat, foul ball.
He's got a hit in every single game against the Firebirds. And he was such a great player during his sophomore season at Florida State. Hit well over 300. But he started the year cold here on the Cape. He hit under 200 through his first 12 games, but over his last 17, like we said on the Scorching Start, hitting over 300. Comfortable, taking his walks, having great at-bats from the left side.
1-2 to Tibbs, high fastball, strike 3. Derek Clark gets strikeout number 1 and out number 3 of the first inning. He works through a scoreless frame as we go to the bottom of the first here on the Birds Broadcast Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Eldredge Park. This is a very important safety announcement. No matter how tempting it is, do not cross Route 28 for foul balls. This is a busy state highway, it's private property on the other side of the road, and the drivers are paying more attention to the game lights and scoreboard than if there's somebody in front of them in the road. Nobody, child or adult, should cross Route 28 for foul balls for any reason. You may think that you can do it safely, but the child...
Here in the bottom of the first, Orleans to bat after 2 runs in their last frame at the bat last night against Cotuit in a 6-5 comeback victory, walking off the Kettleers. Ian, let's go through the starting 9 for Orleans tonight.
For Orleans tonight, it starts with the All-Star at second base, Joe Oyama leading off. Justin Rubin batting second, the designated hitter. Jack Penny, another All-Star, bats third, plays third. Matt Hallback, one more All-Star at the top of the order, bats fourth, plays at first. Eddie Micheletti batting fifth, he's in left field. Drew Farreau at short, he bats sixth. Owen Carpelati behind the dish, he's batting seventh. Eddie King Jr. in center field, he bats eighth. And rounding out the order for the Birds is Colin Tuft, the right fielder.
Defensive alignment for Brewster before you tell him about the starting pitcher. Tibbs, Turner, Robertson, left to right in the outfield. Diaz, Sebring, Green, and Tibbetts, third to first. And Dylan Leach does the catching for Carson Swilling, the starting pitcher for the Brewster Whitecaps. His third appearance, his second start for Brewster. A fastball, slider, and changeup on the righty. Ian, so far only 6 innings, but how can the Firebirds get to him early?
Take your free passes against him. He's handed out multiple walks in each of his first 2 appearances this summer.
He fires a first pitch ball to Oyama. We're in the high Sox today. Is Oyama his first time? Collected his 30th hit on the year against Wareham 2 nights ago. Pops it up foul.
Yeah, we haven't talked about those high Sox yet. Those are newer. Orleans actually debuted them in the last game they played Brewster on the road from Stony Brook. They're clean, all black, and then at the top, the little retro Firebirds spelled out. They're sweet.
Pitch goes high. I've noticed more and more players are wearing them high. They're showing them off because they look good. And Joe Oyama not only looks good in his uniform, but he looks good at the plate. A .341 batting average. Good for third in the Cape Cod Baseball League, along with second in hits with 30. He's really been the conductor to this offense. He swings and misses at the changeup from Swilling as he caught him out in front. First strikeout and the first out here in the first.
Yeah, Swilling has good stuff. I know it hasn't necessarily been his summer, giving up 6 earned runs in 6 innings, but a fastball that sit at the low 90s here on the Cape, but is topped out at 96. Began his collegiate career at Auburn, transferring to South Alabama.
Justin Rubin takes a curveball low. Rubin, who was thrown out at the plate with nobody out in the fifth. He would have been the tying run of last night's game. 5-4, the inning ended, the score. As he swings and puts it right back up the middle. Peyton Green on the backhand, tosses across his body for the out. Rubin had the game-tying home run in the ninth inning to make it 5-5. He goes down on a 4-3 here in the first.
And it was a tough start for Rubin last night. Committed 2 errors and also had an opportunity to come around and score, but did not on a great throw from right field from James McCoy. But he bounced back in the second half of that game. 2 hits, the solo shot in the ninth. He's so mentally tough.
Resiliency, that's been the name of the game for these Firebirds. Swilling, the right-handed pitcher, last pitched on the 6th, 11 days ago against Harwich. Went 4 innings, 5 earned, 5 hits, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. A good start here in the first for the man out of Auburn.
Yeah, it's Swilling's second year on the Cape. He actually didn't play spring ball. 2 years at Auburn, things didn't work out in the spring. So the last time he had pitched before this summer with Brewster was last summer, also on the Cape.
With Katuitt. Pitched 20 innings for them. Upwards of a 9 ERA with the Kettleers. But he's back with the Whitecaps. And like Ian said, transferring to South Alabama. The 2-1 to Penny is a strike at the letters. Jack Penny with 2 RBIs last night. A 2 RBI single in the 5th inning to make it from 5-2 Kets to 5-4. 2-2, 2 outs, fouled away.
He did live out a childhood dream playing for Auburn, and it's a shame it didn't work out there, but he had the opportunity to play for the collegiate team that he grew up just 20 minutes away from in Smith Station, Alabama. But now a fresh start at South Alabama.
2-2, called strike 3. A really good first from Carson Swilling, including 2 strikeouts, 1 forward, 1 backward in terms of the K's in the book. Let's go to the second, still scoreless between the Caps and the Birds.
Don't forget to sign up for the Orleans Firebirds Youth Baseball Clinic. All participants will receive instruction from Coach Max, Coach Cole, and the Firebirds players, a free t-shirt, and a chance to rep the Birds, where clinic attendees can take the field with the players before a selected home game. Clinics are held Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 at the field. Specialty clinics in hitting and pitching will be offered by the Orleans coaching staff during the summer from noon to 1 at the field.
One of the shorter pitchers in the Cape Cod Baseball League will face one of the tallest hitters. 6'4", 230 pounds, Jared Jones leads off the second inning for the Brewster Whitecaps. Was just named to the Home Run Derby, and looking at him, he can do a lot of damage.
He can, and that's exactly what he did during his sophomore season with LSU. 55 games, 14 home runs, 45 runs driven in, and hit over 300 for a great Tigers team. It's been a bit tough here on the Cape. He got his first 2 hits of his season last night in the win against Chatham, but before that he was 0 for 13.
Coming off an NCAA championship. And now here in the Cape, looking to do even more damage, looking to put up some big numbers.
He's really staring down the bat.
A blue bat. The 1-0 from Clark in for a strike. And the red batting gloves.
Which is odd because LSU, there's no red in that. A little odd.
Not a fan of the color. Goes with whatever he wants. 1-1 is popped up, foul territory, giving it a run his haul back near the fence. He runs out of room and ends up at the base of the hill. Here at Eldredge, a packed house, I shall say. A lot toward the right field line and a lot right here behind the plate.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. It's cooled down, luckily. Now in the low 80s, it was about 90 degrees when we got here around 4. One of the best days on the Cape all summer.
1-2, check swing, ground ball to third. Penny cuts it off and throws it to first for the out.
It's a pitcher duel so far. Derek Clark in his first start of the summer, an all-star reliever against Carson Swelling, somebody who has had a tough start to the summer but has great stuff. You know, it's a pitcher-friendly league, and so far these two are getting a lot of weak contact. A couple strikeouts mixed in there as well.
This is a Brewster team that lost 6 straight just a week prior. The last 2 games they've won against Harwich and Chatham. Chatham, their matchup last night was cut short due to the rain. Here's Will Turner, the lefty and center fielder. Off the end of the bat, a nubber to Penny, who makes the throw over for the out. Hallback and Turner collide. Everyone's all right, and the out is recorded.
That was a big blow. Handed out by Will Turner. Matt Hallback took it like a champ. Sometimes you just have to eat it. Good play from Penny. He's been so good defensively all year.
Hallback's no small guy over there at first either. I wouldn't want to run into him.
No. What is he, 6'3", 6'4"? I'm really short, so I can't really tell how tall somebody. If anybody over 6 foot, I really don't know how tall you are after that.
That's a fair thing to say, unless they're like an NBA player. Peyton Green swinging first pitch, pops it up behind first. Hallback into shallow right, makes the catch along the foul line in fair territory. A 1-2-3 second inning for Derek Clark. 2 groundouts and a fly out. Let's go to the bottom of the second. Still scoreless.
What Cape home design will you dream up? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
An interview with Chicago Cubs player and Cape Cod Baseball League Hall of Famer Marcus Stroman, who pitched for the Firebirds in 2010 and 2011. And a story about Drew Spencer, who's the head coach of the Great Britain national team and played for Orleans in 1994 and 95. Check out the biographies of our players, coaches, and interns, as well as the most comprehensive statistics on the Cape League and the Orleans Firebirds. Please pick up your complimentary copy of the 2023 Orleans Firebirds Yearbook, and remember, it is free because of the generous advertisers that you'll see throughout the book. The 99 Restaurants and Pub is proud to be a sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Visit your local 99 and try their famous colossal lobster rolls, held high on grilled brioche and served hot buttered or with just the right amount of mayo and celery with fries and coleslaw. The 99, always the real deal.
A 1-2-3 inning for Derek Clark in the second. We go to the bottom of the second. Carson Swelling back to the mound in the first. Ian, he had 2 strikeouts in a 1-2-3 frame. What did he do so well?
He just has a really good off-speed pitch. And, you know, Swelling, somebody who primarily came out of a bullpen over his first 2 years at Auburn. When you have the fastball in the mid-90s and a breaking ball that really breaks, that's a lethal combo. He uses it there, and Hallback doesn't bite.
It's a sweeper that has a lot of horizontal movement, along with a changeup that he works in on righties. The righty Swilling falls behind 2-0 in the count to Hallback, who had 2 hits last night, both to right field. And against Brewster, he's been an extra base hit machine, a double and a triple with an RBI in 2 games against the Whitecaps.
And those are his only 2 hits against Brewster, the double and the triple. 0 for 5 outside of that.
2 for 7 is pretty good.
That's true.
2-1 is popped up in the infield. Back in a shallow right field goes Tibbetts. Still looking for it, and Peyton Green makes the catch in foul territory.
Yeah, that could have been bad. 3 guys bunched up along the line. That's why communication is key in between Tibbetts, Green, and Robertson. They get it done.
So a pop out for Hallback. Eddie Micheletti comes up to bat. New Virginia Tech Hokie of a few days ago, just committed after playing 3 years at George Washington.
One thing he'll bring the Virginia Tech, plate discipline. This summer, he's got just an 8% strikeout rate.
1-0 inside.
And that's not a fluke either. During his junior season at George Washington, he was even lower. 7%.
And he's not facing A10 pitchers every night here as he fouls it away. He's facing the best of the best.
I mean, right now you're facing somebody in Carson Swelling who was a key piece for a great team in the SEC in Auburn for 2 years. And no offense to the players out in the A10, but the SEC is the SEC.
Just means more. 2-1 is high.
That's a good slogan. Is that the only league with a slogan?
I feel like the Big Ten has to have one. Something about grit or toughness. 3-1 is inside. Micheletti flips the bat as he walks. Reaches base. The first Firebird to reach base tonight is a one-out walk here in the second, and it brings up Drew Farreau.
Yeah, Micheletti. Tough night last night. 0 for 5, but something he didn't do. Didn't strike out. And on his first at-bat tonight, walks with ease.
Here's Drew Farreau, whose average has just climbed and climbed over the past 2 weeks. Really starting to find his grip at the plate. First pitch, a big swing and a miss at a fastball high and outside. Not only is he starting to find a little bit of confidence at the plate, Ian, but he's also starting to find a little bit in the field as well.
He is. You know, he has committed a league-high 9 errors, but over the last few, he's been much better defensively. We were talking with hitting coach Max Fesky, and Fesky was able to relate with Farreau a little bit. A former high school quarterback Farreau was, and Fesky told him, when you don't have your footwork down as a quarterback in football, what happens? Farreau says, you get sacked. So then Farreau, was told by Fesky.
As he pops it up into left field, medium depth, Tibbs is under it and makes the catch.
Not a great result there for Farreau, though he put some good wood on it to deep left field. But then Fesky asked Farreau, well, what do you think happens when you're playing shortstop and you don't have your feet underneath you in the proper way? And then that was kind of an aha moment for Drew. It's so interesting how coaches coach up different players. If you know a player's background, you know where they came from, you can use that history to help them out in the present, and it really has helped Drew.
A check over on Micheletti, who gets back. It is really interesting because all these guys come from different schools, different conferences, all the way around the country and the world. I mean, look at Joe Oyama as well. Coming from UCI, originally from Japan. Carpellotti swinging first pitch, pops it up to shortstop. Sebring runs to the infield grass and makes the catch for the out. One runner left on base here in the second for the Firebirds. It's Micheletti on a walk. We'll go to the third, still scoreless here at Eldredge.
Welcome back to the Birds Broadcast Network. One player who has been underestimated his entire life is tonight's starting pitcher, Derek Clark. At only 5'8", he goes onto the bump, and people don't expect a lot, but he loves it. He uses that underdog mentality to his advantage, and this summer he's been turning heads all summer long. He's been named to the All-Star team, and also he has the second best ERA in the entire league. And for the past 3 years, he's been playing at a Division II school at Northwood University, and he is now taking the big step to the Division I level, playing at West Virginia, and there's a reason why. It's because he has that pit bull mindset. He is going to give you 100% on every single pitch, and let me tell you, he is one of the best team players I have ever seen across all sports. He loves being that Energizer bunny out on the diamond and on the dugout. It's incredible to see, and I'm excited to see what he continues to do today and the rest of the season as well. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Sammy. We go here in the top of the third, still scoreless between the Whitecaps and the Firebirds. Back to the mound is Derek Clark, fires a first pitch strike, and he gets a swing and a miss.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to mess with Derek when he's out on the mound, but it's so interesting. When he's off of it, he's one of the most warm and fuzzy guys on this team, but he is an absolute pit bull out there. He's going to bark at you all night long. He's never going to go away. The
0-2 to Dylan Leach is on the ground to shortstop. Farreau Makes the throw. Hallback keeps his foot on the bag, and he gets the out. Leach, who's wearing 55 tonight, usually wearing 31. He's retired anyway for the first out here in the third. Clark has only allowed one base runner as a single by Tibbetts in the first. Other than that, it's been mostly groundouts.
Yeah, that was definitely Dylan Leach. He wore the left armband, black and yellow, for his former school, Missouri.
Robertson looks to bunt, pops it foul. It did confuse me. I saw a 55, and it was that. Like you said, the yellow armband put me right back on track.
These are really great jerseys for Brewster, too. I know I shouldn't say that as a broadcaster for a rival team of a division, but the teal, the white, the navy, it's a good look.
0-1 looks to bunt again, called strike. Ian, I definitely agree with you. I really like the numbers.
Out of all the Firebirds jerseys, which one is your favorite? Is it the home whites?
It's the home whites. It is. I like the black undershirt with the home whites a lot. 0-2 again to Robertson. Pulled on the ground to first. Hallback collects it and taps the bag for out number 2.
Derek Clark, he only throws in the low 90s. I said it on the pregame show. I'll say it again. Jokes with us before the year that his fastball comes up as a changeup on TrackMan. Doesn't matter. Only one strikeout. He's almost gotten through 3 innings. Just ground ball after ground ball, pop-up after pop-up. And he's working so quick.
Goes back to the top of the order with Jonas Sebring and fires a first pitch strike. Clark has retired 6 in a row, going back to the first inning. He got Sebring on a pop-up to second to start off the night. 2 outs, top 3, still scoreless. 0-1, almost a sidearm delivery from Clark, and he gets a strike. He's been toying with that in bullpens, warming up. And now he's changing arm angles. 0-2, what does he have in store? With 2 outs and nobody on against Sebring. The pitch is outside with the changeup.
Yeah, Clark is ready for this moment. He's been a starter in each of his past 3 years at Northwood, and as a starter, going through the order 2-3 times a night, you have to have a little something different every time.
The 1-2, called strike 3. Second strikeout of the night as he gets Sebring caught looking here in the third. Let's go. Bottom 3, still scoreless. Bottom of the third, and a pitcher's duel so far here from Eldredge between the Whitecaps and the Firebirds. Ian, it was an 8-4 final last time out, but in the previous 3 meetings, it's been very low scoring between these 2 teams.
Yeah, take out that 13-2 thrashing that Orleans handed Brewster back here from Eldredge, and these have been tight pitcher duels where the starting pitching has taken prevalence.
Eddie King swings first pitch, pops it up into right. Checking in on Robertson, who makes the catch.
Lots of at-bats ending early tonight. And that's not just for Orleans, that's for Brewster as well. First pitch swinging. Orleans won the game last night against a really good Katuitt team because they were patient at the end of the game. Literally almost walked the bases loaded, walked in the winning run, and it was Eddie King. Sometimes you have to take your ego out of it and understand, let me get a longer look at this at-bat. Let me see how many strikes he's throwing.
Pitch number 28. from Swilling is a ball high to Colin Tuft. Got into last night's game as a defensive replacement. Gotten at bat in the 9th and struck out. The 1-0 is low, or called strike. A little bit of a late call there from John Budka, who's doing the balls and strikes behind the plate. Jacob Ashworth is the first base umpire, and David Martinez is over at third. The 1-1 with one out. He's outside. Tuft waits on it. 2 years at UVA, Virginia for Tuft before transferring to Tulane in the fall.
Yeah, Tuft was my pick to click in the pregame.
As his bat goes flying almost over the Brewster Whitecaps dugout. No one in danger. It falls past the fence. And a bat kid for the Whitecaps will give Tuft the bat back. We've seen that a lot this summer, Ian.
We have. Usually it's been the opposing teams that have had the bat flying. As Justin Rubin, Tuft's former collegiate teammate, going to help him out a little bit.
Give him a little bit of that stick him to rub on the bat. And we'll step back into the box. 2-2 the count with one out against Swilling. Firebirds still hitless through two and a third. Were hitless through 4 last night. Tuft takes outside a big curveball that misses.
Baseball's a crazy game. You know, you have to treat it like a full 9-inning contest. And I know that might seem self-explanatory, but a game can flip on its head after a few good at-bats.
Full count pitch, single right back up the middle by Tuft. Takes the fastball and hits it where it came from. A one-out single for Tuft. Gets the Firebirds their first knock of the night.
Tuft only 3 for 18 headed into tonight, but when he has hit the ball, he has hit it hard. His best performance of his summer came just over a week ago at Katuitt, where he had 2 hits, both of them for doubles, and that one on a line to center field.
Joe Oyama, as we flip over the order, and goes right back to the top. Tuft on first. Oyama shows bunt, throw back to first. Tuft is safe. Leach threw it to Tibbetts, but it was a little bit on the foul territory side of first base, and Tibbetts had to reach for it, then reach back for the tag.
Yeah, Tuft, not somebody with great speed, as somebody who's caught for most of his life. Hasn't attempted a stolen base yet this summer.
Another check on him. Oyama's also been really good against Brewster. A triple, a double. Made it all the way home, a triple and an error. One of Joe Oyama's patented Little League home runs. Tuft goes. Oyama, hit and run into left center field. Tuft is going to round second and head to third. A perfect hit and run for the Birds with one out. Leaves them with runners on the corners here in the third.
I want you to look at that. New Orleans dead silent through 2 innings. But it takes just one good at bat and one bat to fly out of the hands of Colin Tuft for the turns to tied. Now you have to make something happen. 2 runners on, 190 feet away from home plate, and only one out. And with 2 reliable guys in Justin Rubin and Jack Penny up to bat. You need to cash in here.
Rubin with the game-tying home run last night in the 9th to drive the tying run in. See if he can drive one in here. Takes a curveball high. Oyama at first and Tuft at third. Oyama's bat-to-ball skills have been excellent, and that's another example in the hit and run. Swilling in his first jam of the night checks over on Oyama.
Another skill of his, speed. Oyama 4 for 8 stealing bases this summer.
Tuft on third. Rubin, who's been as clutch as it can get for the Firebirds. A single to the left side, picked up by the third baseman for second, on to first, not in time. A fielder's choice for Rubin, drives in the run. Tuft scores to put the Firebirds on the board. Rubin collects an RBI, and Oyama's forced out at second.
Justin Rubin with excellent speed. He understood the situation, knew there was only one out on the board. That was a great double play ball that Swilling was able to get out of Rubin, but better speed from the future Pepperdine Wave to make sure the run came across the board.
Diaz threw to Peyton Green, but Green's throw to first, not in time. Rubin on first. Tuft comes to score. The Firebirds strike first here against Brewster in the third inning. Single by Tuft, single by Oyama, and a fielder's choice off the bat of Rubin. Another check over on the man who's transferring to Pepperdine. Talk about turning the tides. Pepperdine's mascot, the Waves.
And Colin Tuft, who just scored, going to the two-lane green wave.
That's motion talk. Penny chops it up the middle. Stepped on second by Sebring for the third out of the inning, but not before the Firebirds score first here in the bottom of the third. Colin Tuft touches home on a fielder's choice RBI by Justin Rubin. 1-0 Birds as we go to the fourth.
What Cape home design will you dream up? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
Book your next Mid-Cape escape today at www.redjacketresorts.com. T-Mobile is proud to sponsor the Cape Cod Baseball League. T-Mobile is committed to serve those who serve, and that's why they go above and beyond for our active duty military, veterans, and first responders. Visit your neighborhood T-Mobile store or T-Mobile.com to learn more.
Derek Clark is getting a lot of success. He's also being really efficient. Through 3 innings for Clark, only 31 pitches, and he's retired 7 straight Whitecaps as he faces 2-3-4 in the Brewster order here in the fourth.
Yeah, Derek Clark, not surprised one bit. You know, I wasn't surprised yesterday when Jonathan Gonzalez pitched oh so well in his first start of the summer. Another all-star reliever for Orleans. And Derek Clark has been as good as usual. You know, 2 strikeouts, tons of weak contact.
Davis Diaz takes a first pitch strike. That's been another big thing for Clark. He fires first pitch strikes and keeps the Whitecaps on their toes.
Doesn't make mistakes. Also has not handed out a free pass.
Sidearm pitch. Davis Diaz takes it outside. Grounded out to first in the first inning, did Diaz. Second time through the Whitecaps order for Clark. The 1-1 is a strike with the slider.
And he's pitched lengthy outings already this summer. He's been stretched out of a bullpen. He's pitched 4 innings twice.
1-2, chop to third. Going to be a tough play with Diaz's speed. Penny makes it look easy for the first out of the inning.
And Derek Clark might need to buy Jack Penny a dinner tonight.
What is that, 3 ground outs to third?
1 this inning, back-to-back in the second. You'd be correct. You're good enough at math, but that's why he's an all-star starter, because coaches see what Penny's been able to do not only from the plate, but on the hot corner. A few errors, but a lot of big-time plays, too.
Tibbetts takes high. The only man with a hit, the only man who's reached base for Brewster has been Tibbetts, a single with 2 outs in the first. Went right back up the middle. The 1-0 is cranked to left. Back at the wall is Micheletti. It's gone. A home run for Brock Tibbetts to tie us up here in the fourth. His first home run of the summer.
Did we say he had an issue with extra base hits earlier in this game? Was that us? I don't think that was us.
Must be talking about somebody else. But what a shot by Tibbetts. Goes to left field, and Tuft in left field could only watch. A game-tying solo shot for Brock Tibbetts off Derek Clark here with 1 out in the top of the fourth.
I mean, it's not surprising because you look at his numbers at Indiana. He slugged .585 in the spring, 17 doubles and 10 home runs, 19 over his first 2 years in the Big Ten, and he dreamed big there, Dylan. By the way, that is the official slogan of the conference. We were asked it earlier.
Oh, 1 up the middle. Tough play, no play. Single for Tibbs.
That's just such a dynamic duo in the middle of this order. Tibbetts and Tibbs, 2 names that are a little confusing, and they've confused a lot of pitchers this summer, and Clark's got to settle in here. You know, you can't let that home run break you. He's got such a good mentality. You have to move on and limit the damage, keep this a tied game.
It won't be easy against Jared Jones. A real power stroke in the 5 spot for the Brewster Whitecaps. Runner on first is Tibbs. First pitch fastball at the bottom of the zone for a strike. So the Big Ten has one, the SEC has one. The other 3 Power Fives have to have some type of phrase.
Well, now you're going to make me go to the Google machine again.
It's undefeated. 0-1 on the ground to third. Let's see if they can turn it. Penny to Oyama on the first. Double play. 5-4-3 for the Birds as they let up one, but no more come across to the Whitecaps. We're tied at 1 as we go to the bottom of the 4th.
Milton Cat is proud to support the Cape Cod Baseball League. From paving and landscaping to recreational boating and facility management, Milton Cat has the right equipment, parts, service, and technology to keep you working. Visit miltoncat.com to learn more. The first baseman from UC San Diego, number 31.
2 hits with 1 run coming across for the Firebirds in the bottom of the 3rd. We go bottom 4. Matt Hallback leads off the inning against Carson Swilling, who showed a break in his armor in the 3rd. Hallback up, and we did check his official height. Was that 6'3", 6'4"?
6'3".
6'3".
But, you know, I'm going to be honest. Every team's athletic bio pages lies.
They lie in favor of the player?
I think so. You know, they're team first. It's the team trying to support their player. So I'm not saying Matt Hallback isn't 6'3", because he's a tall guy. But sometimes it's a little inaccurate.
So we have to bring out the tape measure. The big curveball touches the top of the zone for a strike. Now, how much can they really get away with? Are they getting away with 1 inch? Are they getting away with 2 inches at times?
I've seen some pretty bad athletic bios. I think sometimes you can get away with 3 inches. I think more with the weight. I think everybody wants to weigh more. They want to prove they've been in the weight room. You know, they can hold up at the next level. So, you know, Matt Hallback's listed at 215. Again, I don't know. Could he be 205? Potentially.
1-2 fastball outside. Well, you have 1 inch. That's 1 inch. That's fine. 2 inch, you're kind of pushing it, but 3 inches is a lot.
That's like a completely different person.
Absolutely. The 2-2 from Swilling is low. Hallback takes.
I mean, I lie on my driver's license. I say I'm 5'7". Doctor says I'm 5'6". I think sometimes I could get away with 5'8".
I don't know if he's listening. My dad. Oh, we'll do the story after the full count pitch from Swilling.
It's a big moment.
Coming out of the windup against Hallback. Pitch is low. A leadoff walk for Matt Hallback here in the 4th.
So go ahead.
My dad, who has told me that he is still taller than me. Not true.
Same here.
But he told me he's 5'11", officially, off on the record. And when he went to get his driver's license, he said he wore 6 pairs of socks. He got up to 6 foot. So if you read his license, 6 foot is the height. Without the socks, a little bit different. Pitch is high.
But
Daddy Micheletti Jr.
Can't you just tell the DMV whatever height you want on there?
Well, no, you can't go up there and say you're 6'5".
Well, that's ridiculous. But if your dad was trying to get away with 2 inches, I don't think he needed to do that. I give him credit for doing it. I wouldn't pull up to any function with 6 pairs of socks on. But mad respect to Mike Pescatore.
He's pulling the tricks. He's getting one over on the DMV. Micheletti swings and misses at the changeup. 1-2 to the lefty. Hallback's on first after a leadoff walk. Maybe some guys, they go to the media day where they, record height and weight, and they put, one of those ankle weights on. Increases their weight. Micheletti off the fist into center field, dropping quickly in for a base hit. A walk to Hallback, a hit from Micheletti Jr. He's reached in both times tonight, and the Firebirds are set up here in the fourth.
Big bounce back game for Eddie Micheletti, who has been productive this summer against Brewster. He's been great for Orleans. Came into the night 3 for 15 and has added 2 more on-base appearances against Brewster. Just rock solid in the middle of this order.
No outs, 2 on. This is usually a situation where the Firebirds would bunt. Does Drew Farreau do so? He takes a curveball for a strike from Swilling. 2 straight innings where the Firebirds are threatening. They scored 1 in the third, and now we're set up for success here in the fourth. Farreau flew out to left in his first at-bat. Swilling from the stretch, looks back at second. Him and Sebring, the shortstop, weren't on the same page. Hallback is at second. He led off the inning. Micheletti Jr. is at first. Farreau takes low.
Max Fetsky said 1 through 9. This lineup has table setters and table clearers. Drew Farreau typically looks like a table clearer. Hasn't had a home run yet this summer. He's been hitting over 300 in his last 8 games. Can he come up in a big spot?
The 1-1 swings and misses at the changeup. That was high and away. Such a powerful swing. Can do a lot of damage. He hasn't gotten that one barrel yet, but he seems like the type of guy where if he gets one, the others are really going to follow.
His confidence has progressively gone up and up as the summer has gone on.
The 1-2 to Farreau was popped up left field side and out of play. And now with 2 strikes, his job is to get these runners over or find a way to get a ball in play.
Ideally, if he can pull it as a switch hitter batting from the left side towards the right side of the field to at least get Matt Hallback 90 feet away from home plate at third. That's the big thing here with nobody out.
Swilling's looking for the strikeout. Takes 2 looks at Hallback. The 1-2 again, fouled back. Almost took out our monitor.
Almost took out me.
Almost took out you. Thankful to the net.
I kind of forget there's a net there. I'll admit it. I'm a scaredy cat. If there was no net, I wouldn't have caught the ball.
Were you diving away? I wasn't looking. Were you diving away?
I was.
Don't blame you. Do the 1-2 again. The curveball is high to Farreau, who's putting up a battle against Swilling. His pitch count's climbing. 55 here in the fourth.
Farreau's somebody who's also been a bit of a Whitecaps killer. 3 for 7 with an RBI and a pair of walks in his previous matchups with the Caps headed into tonight's game.
2-2 from Swilling is high. Count is full. Farreau has battled back from 1-2 down to now 3-2 against Swilling.
It's a really good at bat for Farreau. If Orleans can load the bases with nobody out, then you're cooking.
Henry Hunter, the catcher, or check that, Owen Carpellotti, the catcher, is on deck. The full count pitch is popped into center field. In comes Turner. He makes the catch. On the run, Will Turner with a catch to Rob Farreau. A fastball down the middle from Swilling. Farreau got a good barrel on it, but right into the glove of Will Turner, who's a top-tier fielder in center.
He's a plus athlete. He's been wrecking havoc at South Alabama over the last 2 years, and that was a really well-hit baseball. That's now, 2 from tonight from Drew Farreau. That could have easily been hits, but the outfield has been sturdy and consistent for Jamie Shevchek's team all summer long with Turner in center. And Tibbs in left, too.
Swilling wins the battle against Farreau with the help of a new teammate. Him and Will Turner will be playing at South Alabama in the fall. Carpellotti takes a curveball for strike 1. 2 on for the Birds with 1 out in the bottom of the fourth. The 0-1 is on the ground to second. Peyton Green to second for 1. On to first. They got them both. A 4-6-3 DP for Brewster. They get out of 2 on with nobody out. As the Birds were set up, they can't come through. We will go to the 5th with Ian Nicholas taking over on the play-by-play.
Back on the Birds Broadcast Network in the top of the 5th inning. Thanks so much for joining us. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore on the call. And Dylan, it's been a back-and-forth affair, tied at 1-1, but one thing has remained consistent, good pitching. Derek Clark did give up a solo shot to Brock Tibbetts, but outside of that, in his first start of the summer, he's been really good.
He's been awesome. And even after the home run, he gave up a single to James Tibbs. He got right back to it. 5-4-3 double play. That's what he's been so good at. And all these pitchers, really, they've been so resilient. They give up a home run, they're right back to it getting outs. They don't let things spiral, and that's what's been a key to the Firebirds this season on the mound.
We'll go back to the field here as we start the 5th inning. Tied at 1 apiece. Clark, his first start, gave up the solo shot last inning, but like you said, then gave up a single to James Tibbs, but Tibbs retired on a 5-4-3 double play. Clark with 2 strikeouts tonight, no walks, and now trying to go for his longest outing of the summer. The all-star reliever has pitched at least 4 innings in 2 prior appearances, hasn't pitched more than that. Now faces 6, 7, and 8 in the order for Brewster, and it starts with the center fielder from South Alabama, Will Turner. You know, we talked about the uniforms earlier tonight for Orleans. The home whites with the red lettering and the black undershorts, Dylan's favorites. Black undershirts, rather. And you know, these jerseys designed by a former Orleans Firebirds pitcher, as that pitch misses inside. And Marcus Stroman pitched for this team in 2010 and 2011, a Cape Cod Baseball League Hall of Famer, currently with the Chicago Cubs. And Stro known for one thing, as this is absolutely rocked to right, but caught on a line. It's snagged by Colin Tuft, 1 away. Stroman known for getting it done at the major league level and here on the Cape, despite only standing at 5'7". That's why these jerseys, if you can see it off the right shoulder of Clark, it says HDMH, height doesn't measure heart. That's the apparel brand of Marcus Stroman. Stroman stands just 5'7". As this is launched in a shallow center field, Eddie King lets it drop in front of him for a base hit. That's a single for Peyton Green, his first hit of the night after the fly out from Will Turner. Derek Clark continuing to try to get it done despite his size. You know, Marcus Stroman just 5'7", one of 6 pitchers in the major leagues since the 21st century to make a start at 5'7". Derek Clark, he only stands at 5'8", and a Cape League All-Star just like Stroman was. This is blistered in the left center field. Eddie King looks up, makes the catch. It's 434 out there in center. That's not getting out, despite being a well-hit baseball by Dylan Leach. He flies out, and that's 2 away here in the top of the 5th inning.
A lot of hard contact and early in counts here in the 5th for the Whitecaps. Good for Clark that he's got a lot of speed out there in the outfield, including Eddie King, who makes a really good catch on a well-hit ball.
Bottom man in the order, it's Michael Robertson from Florida. You mentioned earlier in this game the reason why Derek Clark was succeeding, because he was throwing first pitch strikes. He's staying with a low pitch count here, almost done with 5 innings. He hasn't even thrown 50 pitches, but 35 of his 47 pitches are in for strikes, including that one on the upper third. You know, Clark not the only smaller all-star on this Orleans team. He stands at 5'8". Yesterday's starter, Jonathan Gonzalez, only 5'10". Joe Oyama, the second baseman, 5'7". But those guys all fit the Marcus Stroman mold pretty well. Height doesn't measure heart. Doesn't measure the heart of those three. 3 of the best players on a really good Orleans team so far this season.
100%. Couldn't say it better. Whatever you look like, doesn't matter. If you can pitch, if you can hit, it's going to show, and it's going to really be great. This team has had guys that are, like you said, 5'7", 5'8", and 6'3", 6'4" hit. And they all come together as one.
Michael Robertson behind 1 and 2 with 1 on and 2 out. Can't get it done there. Fastball misses low. Robertson, who grounded out the first, his first time up in the third, trying to reach and keep this inning alive. Runner on first is Peyton Green, who singled. He takes off. There's a rundown. No, because the pickoff attempt from Derek Clark missed the glove of Matt Hallback, and they say the ball was still in play in foul territory towards the right side of the field, so Green takes third as well. All of a sudden, a lot of pressure put on Michael Robertson to deliver with 2 on and 2 out, and now a runner just 90 feet away from the go-ahead score.
That'll be an error on Clark. He saw the runner going and immediately wanted to get it to Hallback.
Can't get it done on the 2-2. The count is full to number 32, Michael Robertson.
Clark just rushed the throw and left it low for Hallback, who had no chance.
Clark trying to get out of a jam. The payoff. Gets it done! Low and away, and a big swing from Michael Robertson. Clark makes up for his own error, keeps things tied at 5 with strikeout number 3 on the night. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th on the Birds Broadcast Network.
What Cape home design will you dream up? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
After a day in the summer sun. Now let's go, Firebirds. Hit one over the neck on field banners.
Bottom of the 5th on the Birds Broadcast Network. Derek Clark went 5 innings of 1-run baseball, and Carson Swilling, Dylan, trying to do the same in the bottom of the frame. He faces 8, 9, and 1, and it starts with the center fielder, Eddie King.
An inning that was really looking good in the 4th for the Firebirds. A walk to Hallback, a single by Micheletti. With nobody out, they couldn't get the job done, however. A few hard-hit balls were caught.
The 0-1 swung through and missed, 0-2. Last inning ended with a fly out to center from Drew Farreau, who's hit a couple baseballs hard tonight, and then a 4-6-3 double play. Turned by Peyton Green, Jonas Sebring, and Brock Tibbetts. King fouls it to the netting, 0-2. Dylan, we were talking about this earlier today. The Louisville product might only be hitting 180 on the year, but with an on-base percentage at 380, he's been getting it done.
He's been getting on base any means necessary. Eddie King does not expand the zone a lot, like a lot of these Firebirds hitters. And yes, the average, he wants it to be higher, of course he does. But he's doing the little things and other things to impact the team positively.
Checks his swing and holds up, according to first base umpire Jacob Ashworth. So staying alive, taking a ball, and evening the count is the Illinois native. I know a big goal for Eddie so far this summer, like you told me with conversations with him, is trying to keep the strikeout and walk ratio at an even 1-1, and now he's a ball away from his 14th walk on the summer. He's come behind from 0-2.
Firebirds at bats have looked really good against Swilling second time around.
That offering fouled away. Swilling has thrown just over 65 pitches on the night, making his 3rd appearance of the summer for Brewster. His latest did go 4 innings. Ground ball and a half swing towards second, throw to first in time. A good at bat from Eddie King to set the tone in the inning, but he does not reach on the ground out.
And maybe that at-bat doesn't get the result that King wants, but it really has an impact for the rest of the results. It drives up Swilling's pitch count, which right now is at 67 here in the 5th. it has an impact as you go through the order and more guys see more pitches and etc. It truly does.
Colin Tuft, the DMV native, trying to have a good at-bat just like Eddie King. At the bottom of this order tonight, and a well-located pitch on the lower third. Tuft goes behind 0-1. He singled in the third inning and eventually scored on the RBI fielder's choice from his former Virginia teammate, Justin Rubin.
Not from the same DMV that my dad went to.
No. I don't think people from the Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia area care about how tall your father is like the DMV might. Ball one.
What do they call the DMV in the DMV?
DMV double.
DMV squared.
Don't bring math into the equation. Always makes it more complicated. Swelling's 1-2. Does not get the call, and Tuft holds up to take ball two.
Tuft is a guy whose mentality is when he sees the pitcher lift his legs, swing, 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 don't swing when the ball is out of the zone. He's on every pitch.
Trying to stay on the 2-2. And he pops it up to shallow right center. Backing up the second baseman, Peyton Green, but instead it's the right fielder who makes the catch of Michael Robertson for out number 2 of the inning. Swilling it out away from keeping pace with Derek Clark and providing really good starts for his team.
Swilling's curveball has been his best pitch tonight. He pairs that, of course, with a changeup and a fastball. That's been the pitch that's got him out of a lot of jams.
Back to the top of the order with Joe Oyama, and gets a first pitch strike to the rising senior out of UC Irvine. Oyama 1 for 2 tonight. Now 1-1 in the count. Struck out swinging in the first and singled in the third. As for Swelling, just trying to get back on track and prove what he can bring to South Alabama in the spring of next year. As their strike 2 looking. With that fastball tonight's been in the low 90s. Has topped out 96 throughout his career. A changeup that he throws to batters from both sides of the box. Swing and a miss. There's the strikeout. Derek Clark and Carson Swilling have been dominating this ball game. A pitcher's duel, which has it tied at 1 after 5. Does the offense come alive? Does Derek Clark come back to the mound when we return in the top of the 6th? You'll have to tune in to find out on the Birds Broadcast Network.
Welcome back to the Birds Broadcast Network. One position in baseball that never gets enough credit is the catcher. They are truly the backbone of the team, especially for this Firebirds squad. Henry Hunter and Owen Carpellotti embody what it means to be that team player. They're constantly communicating with their team and always asking their players, what do you need from me? What do you want from me? Is there any differences that you guys need? And these two have not only been heating up on the plate, but they have been so solid behind the plate. They're seeing so many pitchers every single day. In fact, Orleans has added 5 different arms in the bullpen in the last week, but they're making it look like they've been catching for these guys all season long. It's going to be exciting what they continue to do for the rest of the season. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Sammy. Owen Carpellotti, the starting catcher for Orleans tonight, on a 5-game hit streak. Trying to also help his pitcher out in Derek Clark, who returns to the mound for his 6th inning of work. And faces the top of the order of Brewster, which begins with Jonah Sebring, one of the most recent additions to this team. He goes behind 0-2, and he's 0 for 2 on the night. My number 2, Dylan Pescatore, had to take a little bathroom break, so our writer, Brendan Nordstrom, back on the broadcast for a 2nd night in a row.
Oh, I'm honored to be here, Ian.
A little miss from Clark, 1-2. Isn't this such a fun guy to watch? I mean,
really
you're
is.
a Michigan native, right? You got to love this.
I don't live too far from him, actually. His breaking ball is great, and just the way those first pitch strikes keep that pitch count low.
Foul ball. Count stays 1-2. From the smallest town in Michigan is Clark, Petersburg, a city that's just half a square mile big. And I think it's just perfect for a guy who is the smallest player on this team outside of Joe Oyama. Chopper foul down the left field line. Just perfect for this story. It just makes perfect sense for a guy like Derek Clark.
Yeah, I mean, I'd never heard of the town.
And you grew up near it.
Exactly, less than an hour.
Wow. Spent 3 years at Northwood, a Division II school, also in Michigan. The 1-2. Launch to left. Ranging towards his right. Looking up at that ball, Eddie Micheletti. And it's foul. A well-hit ball from Jonas Sebring, who's looking to provide a spark to this Brewster offense. Just finished up his redshirt junior season at UC Santa Barbara. Began his collegiate career at Golden West College, a JUCO in Huntington Beach, California. And Brewster's manager, Jamie Shevchuk, has had a lot of big, good things to say about Sebring, as he needs a new bat from Davis Diaz. Compared Sebring to Zach Neto, who has a fantastic story. The 1-2 gets the swing and a miss for strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Derek Clark, and now 4 on the night in his first start of the summer.
And, even though Sebring struck out, it was, I would still say, a productive at-bat. He ran the pitch count up of Derek Clark, something that the Whitecaps need to do more of in order to get him off the mound. He's been dominating all day. And
I would love for you to dominate all day on color, but unfortunately, my least favorite member of the media team, Dylan Pescatore, is back. So Brendan's brief stint on the mic for the second night in a row ends. Davis Diaz chops one to the middle of the infield, hopping up his Oyama and throwing it to Matt Hallback. It gets low, makes the scoop, and there's out number 2. Dylan, how you feeling?
Feel good. Feel a little tired. I'm getting my running in now. I can't run as long as you, Kenny, and I know you're like.
You've been ducking the gym grind, Dylan. I'm just going to say it.
Oh, man. Pointing me out here on the broadcast.
I am. We're taking shots at the Pescatore family tonight. First
Jesus.
It was your dad. Now it's you.
Who's next?
Hard hit ground ball to Jack Penny. He bobbles it. Throws to first in time. Jack Penny, so sensational defensively. Brock Tibbetts retired. And it's a 1-2-3 frame for Derek Clark. 6 innings, a 1-run baseball from the West Virginia commit. It stays tied at 1. We go to the bottom of the 6th on the Birds Broadcast Network. If Derek Clark can do something good, Carson Swilling hopes he can do it better. Clark with 6 innings, a 1-run ball tonight, and Dylan, despite Swilling's pitch count being significantly higher, the South Alabama commit is out there for one more here.
It's an interesting decision by Jamie Shevchuk, the manager of the Whitecaps, to keep him going out here. 5 innings, and that's been great. I mean, it's the best appearance here this summer for Swilling, no doubt, his longest as well, along with 4 strikeouts. But facing this mean to the order, I think this matchup, seeing him for the 3rd time, can favor Orleans.
Justin Rubin is somebody who has helped Orleans as of late, batting second tonight. And as you can see on the graphic at the bottom of your screen, has reached in all 9 of his games with the team, including multiple hits in 3 of his last 4. Gets ahead 1-0. Talking about somebody else who's journeyed around the collegiate ranks. Swilling began his career at Auburn, transferring to South Alabama. Rubin, the Philadelphia native, spent his first 2 seasons with Virginia and now transferring out west to play in the WCC with Pepperdine. The 2-0 pitch, also low. Now 3-0.
Such an interesting, dynamic in the past 2 years or so. The portal has really gained a lot of popularity, with the COVID year eligibility, etc.
A 4-pitch leadoff walk for Rubin. A great at bat. Didn't need to swing the bat. And a leadoff base runner for Orleans for the 3rd time in the last 4 innings.
And they have to start to capitalize because they did in the 3rd, but they didn't have a leadoff walk. 4th, 5th, and 6th, like you said. Got to find a way to get runners over, get runners in.
Jack Penny got a couple runners in last night with a run-scoring single in the 5th inning. Up and in, that's a miss, and with 5 straight misses to start this inning on the mound from Swilling, a mound visit needed as the Alabama native approaching 80 pitches on the game. And Dylan, what do you think the words are from Dylan Leach?
I'm truly wondering why Swilling's still out there. He had an okay 4th with 2 runners left on. A 5th, it was really good, 1, 2, 3. But now with a 4-pitch walk, Brewster team has played a lot of games in a lot of days. They haven't had an off day in a good amount of time, and they won't until Saturday. So they still have to keep going, trying to get a little bit more out of Swilling. I think the Firebirds can take advantage. Swilling has to be a little bit tired. I know he started over at Auburn in his first 2 years. He didn't play in the spring, so it was just throwing on backfields. What is his endurance like right now?
Jack Penny ahead 2-0, even after that long conversation between Swilling, Leach, and the shortstop Sebring. Runner on first. Justin Rubin, the leadoff walk. And another ball delivered by Swilling. That is 6 in a row. 7 in a row to start this inning. Back in his 6th inning of work, the pitch count over 80 on the game. Finally lands a strikeout in the outer half. But that zone kind of expands for John Budka, the 3-0. So can Swilling deliver one more? Jack Penny not afraid to walk. Top 10 in the league in walks this year. And he does on 5 pitches. 9 pitches in this inning for Sebring. 8 balls, 2 runners on. Jamie Shevchuk just strokes his beard from the dugout. He's not making a change as Matt Hallback, the All-Star, comes up to the plate.
And you know what, Ian? I think that goes in favor of the Firebirds. I would not bunt here. When Swilling can't find the zone, you at least got to take a strike. Usually they would with 1st and 2nd, nobody on. I wouldn't. I would shy against it.
Trying to pick off Justin Rubin, who's 1 for 2 on stolen base attempts on the year. Sebring fires it back to the mound. Orleans maybe trying to stay aggressive with 2 on, nobody out, and a tied 1-1 game. First pitch to Hallback, swung on, right to the center of the infield. Under it is second baseman Peyton Green, and he makes the catch with 2 hands above his head. Infield fly was in effect. And finally, the first out of the inning for Carson Swilling, and Jamie Shevchuk finally comes down from his perch and slowly makes his way out to the mound. 5 1/3 for Carson Swilling, and easily his best appearance of this summer. Only he's given up 1 run, but he leaves with 1 out and 2 runners on after back-to-back walks to start this inning from Justin Rubin and Jack Penny. Who does Jamie Shevchuk call upon? Let's see how this mound visit ends and if there is some commotion out of the bullpen before we check it to potentially an unnecessary break. Is Shevchuk, who's all smiles in the middle of that huddle, going to stick with Swilling?
I don't think he is. I saw a lefty warming up in the bullpen, and 2 of the next 3 batters for the Firebirds are lefties. I think that's what Shevchuk is thinking right now, if he can get the matchup game in his favor.
John Budka joins the conversation, and finally Shevchuk calls the bullpen with that left arm to indicate for a left-hander reliever. The night over for Carson Swilling. We'll tell you who the new arm is when we come back in just a moment on the Birds Broadcast Network.
What Cape Home design will you dream up? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
See we're back, they've got to be talking. You know, I'm saying they have both. Nope. Oh, where they live? I call it game. I call it Fi found a player was their Fi call it game. Yeah, they all live together, yeah. What I used to, with all these things, all I gotta do is like just, I know they are all in like real programs, but it's like, I think that you should at least try to do things that are exactly like television. And you just never would see, because people at home are confused by that. You come out of a commercial, and people think, oh, something must be wrong. You know, there must be wrong with the audio. I'm not hearing it.
Carson Swilling's night done after 5 1/3, gave up 1 run and leaves 2 runners on. Justin Rubin on second, Jack Penny on first. Both of them walked, and Dylan, Jamie Shevchuk of Brewster, calls to a familiar face out of a bullpen, and Rocco Reed, his last appearance, a start against Orleans.
Yep, started on July 11th, just 6 days ago, in an 8-4 loss. He went 4 innings, 3 runs, all of them earned on 3 hits and 3 walks. In that first inning, he gave up 2 runs. He could not find the zone. So at times, the lefty can be a little wild, but the matchup favors him. 2 of 3 of the next Firebirds hitters are left-handed.
But the left-handed Eddie Micheletti has been good tonight as he takes the ball 1-0. He's reached twice on a walk in the second and a single in the fourth after an 0-for-5 night in Orleans' big walk-off win against the Katuitt Kettleers yesterday. The Birds, who sit at 14-14, trying to get back and up and over 500 for the first time in over a month. The ball pops out of Dylan Leach's hand, but did it get a piece of the bat of Eddie Micheletti? It appears that it did. So Justin Rubin is going to retreat to second base after taking off for third, and now the count even.
Micheletti 1-1 against the lefty. This would be a good opportunity maybe for the Firebirds to pull out that hit and run from the toolbox again. Micheletti has really good bat-to-ball skills. He can put almost any pitch in play.
The hit and run worked for Orleans in the third off a Joe Oyama single. This hit the opposite way and foul. Colin Tuft was on first after he singled, was on the move, and eventually ended up on third base and eventually came home to score on an RBI fielder's choice from Rubin, who's on second. Birds trying to retake the lead for the first time since that third inning against Rocco Reed, who, as you can see, has the orange and purple glove representing his school of Clemson. 1-2, misses outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Micheletti's not going to bite. The Greenville, South Carolina native, Rocco Reed. He's been used as both a starter and a reliever this summer for Jamie Shevchuk. Trying to get out of a jam with 1 out and 2 on. On the ground, backhanded, and dropped at third by Diaz. He has to eat it. That's a tough play to make, and the bases are loaded. Diaz, an all-SEC defensive player at third base this summer. It took a sharp bounce into his glove as he tried to backhand it, and the Vanderbilt star couldn't make the play. Bases loaded for Drew Farreau. That goes down as a hit in the infield, 4th hit of the night for Orleans.
What a swing by Micheletti. Goes the other way, exactly what the Firebirds needed. That is why you put the ball in play, folks.
Drew Farreau with the bases loaded and 1 out. Missing way outside is Reed. Farove, a switch hitter, batting righty for the first time tonight after facing the right-handed Carson Swilling and batting from the left side. In his first 2 ABs, he's hit a couple baseballs hard tonight, Dylan. A pair of flyouts.
Farove is 1 swing away, 1 inch away from having a lot of big moments, but he's got to be patient here. Reed is a little bit wild.
Reed has had issues with control this summer. 12 strikeouts, 7 walks in 14 1/3 innings pitched. Handed out 3 walks in 4 innings against Orleans in his start against the Birds on the 11th. The 2-0. Swung on, chopped, right to his shortstop Sebring. Trying to turn the double play, doing the splits, they can't. And a run comes across the boards for Orleans. Justin Rubin scores. Brewster unable to turn the double play as Eddie Micheletti forced out at second. But reaching on the fielder's choice is Drew Farrow at first, and that is why you put the ball in play.
100%, but what a play by Sebring. The glove flip to second almost got the job done. Good hustle from Farrow. He did swing at a 2-0 pitch, maybe a little bit low, but like you said, balls in play matter. He does so, and he gives the Birds the lead.
Owen Carpellotti, he's been putting the ball in play a lot recently on a 5-game hit streak. He has runners on the corners with 2 out. Swings first pitch, chops it to first, inning over. Brock Tibbetts steps on the bag, and Rocco Reed works out of a difficult jam, giving up a run, but keeping it a manageable game for the Whitecaps. Orleans back in front 2-1 after 6. We go to the top of the 7th on the Birds Broadcast Network. Back in the top of the 7th on the Birds Broadcast Network, and, you know, the celebrities out to play tonight here from Eldredge Park. Al Leiter in attendance. He makes his way out to Orleans every summer, a 2-time All-Star and a 3-time World Series champ. You can see him right in the middle of your screen wearing that very flashy, very nice purple polo. The Mets Hall of Famer has come out to play.
That's right. Him and Greg Amsinger are from MLB Network. Al has done some work for MLB Network as well. So coming out to watch some baseball and enjoy the Cape Cod Baseball League. What's better than this?
Not much. Al's nephew Cam pitched for Orleans at the start of the season. His collegiate teammate Drew Farrow, who drove in a run with a fielder's choice in the last half inning, still on the Firebirds. Both started their collegiate careers at the University of Central Florida, transferring to Florida State in the spring. Speaking of guys making big moves, Derek Clark back on the mound for his 7th inning of work. His pitch count lower, Dylan, just around 65. Trying to protect this 2-1 lead. He faces the dangerous James Tibbs, and he's a lefty, so Kelly Nicholson always loves to play the matchup game.
Yeah, righty up in the bullpen. This seems to be Clark's last batter either way. He said he had 65 pitches in him tonight. Upcoming will be pitch number 65.
Will it be his last pitch? Pop-up foul. It won't. Count now 2-1. Tibbs ahead. Struck out swinging in the first inning and singled in the 4th. James Tibbs, the rising junior from Florida State, rocks one to right. Colin Tuft lets it drop in front of him, and that's back-to-back hits for James Tibbs. Kelly Nicholson, for the moment, stays put in the dugout. It appears like Derek Clark's at least going to get one more batter.
It was not a hard hit ball from Tibbs for the single. If you're going to trust anybody, you're going to trust Derek Clark against a powerful righty.
That powerful righty being the designated hitter, Jared Jones. who's 0 for 2 tonight. Couple ground outs, including a ground out into a double play, 5-4-3 in the 4th inning. The big and powerful Jared Jones at 6'4", 230 pounds, faces the 5'5", 180-pound Cape League All-Star Derek Clark. Fastball gets by Jones for a strike. 1-1.
Clark has had Jones's number tonight. 2 ground balls and 1 for a DP in the 4th. If he can get the same here, it'd be huge.
DC looking for another DP. There's a ground ball. It's fair, but dribbling foul. Jack Penny lets it go, and Jones falls behind in the count. It's the first time tonight that Brewster's had a leadoff base runner aboard, and Dylan, that certainly can make a difference.
100%, a 1-run game as well. This is a huge at-bat. This could be a game-changing play right here. That was a great job by Penny, by the way. Down the foul line. You're not getting 2. You're likely getting 1, but you don't know with a long throw and a runner like Jones. You eat it, you let Clark go to work again.
Clark takes his sweet time to step back into a right-handed batter's box. Trying to build off the momentum of last night. 0 for 13 to start this Cape League season. Had his first 2 hits of the year last night at Chatham. A 6-5 win for the Whitecaps, which ended after only 5 innings due to rain. Rain that hit us here in Orleans as well and blasted us right off the air during cooling down. 1 on, nobody out. Clark ahead 1-2, and he gets Jones down to 1 knee with strikeout number 5 on the night. Kelly Nicholson stays put.
Oh, man. Derek Clark, so fun to watch. Now the longest start for a Firebirds pitcher. It used to be 6 innings by Daniel Avidia, 6 1/3 by Clark, and he's still going strong. Now he's facing the lefty, Will Turner, so the matchup favors him.
If you would have said at the start of the year, Derek Clark would be going for the longest start of any Orleans Firebirds pitcher this year, probably nobody would have believed you, but that's kind of how Derek Clark pitches. He wants to pitch like you don't believe in him, and he's going to make you believe in him. As he checks in on the runner on first, James Tibbs, who led this inning off with a single, and he's got good speed with multiple stolen bags on the summer. 3 for 4 on stolen base attempts. Foul ball from Will Turner, the center fielder.
The best part about Clark is he's up there and he's still pitching with a lot of confidence, going quick. He's a double play ball away from getting out of this 7th inning. Pitch count's in a great spot as well. Upcoming will be pitch number 74.
That pitch gets a swing and miss from Turner, who goes down with a strikeout. Back-to-back Ks of a swinging variety for Derek Clark. 8-6 for him in 6 2/3 innings pitched.
I don't know if I would want to be in this dugout if Derek Clark gets this last out. He would be a monster. He always comes off the mound with a lot of fire. He's looking for the last one. He's really almost there.
Peyton Green, first pitch swinging, pops it up deep to right. Colin Tuft maneuvers and makes the catch. Derek Clark's popped up. His teammates pumped up for him. 7 innings, 1 run given up, 6 strikeouts. You got to tip your cap to what could be the best individual pitching performance from a Firebird this summer. Keeps it 2-1 Orleans. We go to the bottom of the 7th on the Birds Broadcast Network.
What Cape home design will you dream up? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
Congratulations to 8-year-old Benjamin from Montreal who won the autographed baseball.
Margaret's list of duties is already. Ryan Madsen for the Dodgers in 2018 was the most colorful performance the pitchers ever that I could. Here we go.
Leading off for the Firebirds, the center fielder.
Bottom of the seventh on the Birds Broadcast Network. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore on the call. 8-9-1, due up for Orleans. It starts with the hero of last night's game, Eddie King Jr. The Louisville man faces an ACC foe in Clemson's Rocco Reed, who got the final 2 outs of last inning. Worked out of a jam, first and second and 1 out. Orleans held scoreless, and it's still a 1-run affair. A 2-run home run and the walk-off walk in last night's walk-off win against the Kettleers, snapping an 8-game win streak for Katuitt. King quickly falls behind, but stays alive as he takes the pitch outside, 1-2.
The Firebirds, now they're in insurance mode. They need one. They like 2 or more to get their pitching staff and their bullpen a little bit more room for error.
Reed had some issues controlling the strike zone last inning, but got out of it scot-free. After giving up the RBI fielder's choice, a run not charged against him, instead it's charged against Swilling. The pitcher he replaced, he got Owen Carpellotti to ground out on just 1 pitch. Breaking ball misses outside, now 2-2 to King, who is 0 for 2 tonight, flew out in the third, grounded out in the fifth. Just finished up his sophomore season at the U of L. Originally from just outside of Chicago, King has brought a lot of good things to this Orleans team. Great speed, leads the team in stolen bases with 6 on 7 attempts, as he readjusts his elbow guard. Repping the Cardinals tonight with the red, the former name of Orleans. And he's playing a great center field. And he has a great at-bat. Eddie King walks for the first time tonight. He knows a thing or two about a meaningful walk. Back-to-back innings, Orleans has started off with a walk.
Yes, and another leadoff walk for the Birds today. Brewster was leading it off with a few walks, but now the Birds have it. Eddie King on first, a lot of speed, but the lefty Reed is on the mound. Much tougher to steal a base against a lefty than a righty.
It's the third time in the last 4 innings, like you alluded to, that Orleans has set the tone with a free pass. Colin Tuft shows bunt. Pulled it away for a ball, 1-0. 1 for 2 tonight with a single and a run scored, but flew out in the fifth. Now a mound visit for Dylan Leach. Just finished up his junior season at Missouri, transferring to Missouri State next year. Rocco Reed trying to refine the zone after handing out that free pass. The count 1-0 to Colin Tuft in a 2-1 game. A little windy on a chilly night from Orleans. That bunt laid down fair. Leach trying to gun down the runner at second, and King nearly threw down his pitcher in the process, and Reed who hit the deck. It was a great throw, and it retires Eddie King. It's the second time he's been caught stealing this summer, or rather, the second time he's been caught along the base paths as reaching is Colin Tuft at first.
And Kelly Nicholson wants these umpires to meet to go over what they saw. It could have been some runner's interference as well. The ball was right in front of home plate. Leach came out. Tuft might have been obstructed on his way to first base. That's what I believe they're talking about.
So all the umpires having a little chat. John Budka behind the dish. Jacob Ashworth at first. David Martinez at third. Kelly Nicholson likes what he sees, at least by his expression, a little nod. Is there going to be an overturned call as Colin Tuft now makes his way to the dugout, and Eddie King is back on first base. It looks like the count might reset. Tuft is going to grab his bat.
They're going to rule that a foul ball. They're going to say that it hit Tuft in the box.
Kelly Nicholson smiling back at Tuft, talking over the approach. As the count now a ball and a strike, and Jamie Shevchuk not a fan of the overrule And neither is the Brewster dugout. Orleans and Brewster furious. Jamie Shevchuk, he's coming back for more. Shevchuk has already been thrown out once this season against Orleans for a controversial call at Brewster. And now Jamie Shevchuk getting into a shouting match with first base umpire Jacob Ashworth. He's been thrown out. You don't think these rivalries mean something? They do. Last time it was a ground rule double that turned into a home run from Stony Brook Field for Fenwick Trimble that got Jamie Shevchuk tossed. And tonight, what should have been Eddie King being thrown out at second after a bunt from Colin Tuft turns into a foul ball. King returning the first, and Jamie Shevchuk battling with first base umpire Jacob Ashworth until he gets tossed from the game. And Dylan Ashworth was telling him, we're not doing this, we're not doing this. He tried his hardest to make sure that Shevchuk wouldn't get thrown out, but Shevchuk wasn't having any of it.
Yeah, and he said, get back to the dugout, go back to the dugout. All the chance in the world for Shevchuk to go back and not risk getting thrown out. Ashworth had enough and is now staring down the dugout. He's waiting for Shevchuk to exit the dugout, hand over his lineup card as well. The count is still 1-1 when we're talking about the game. And Tuft, who has another chance to bunt.
You think you will, even after that wild sequence?
I would do it. Leachman, a great play, by the way. If the foul ball didn't happen, would have been a top 10 play. Now Shevchuk has exited the dugout. We're back to baseball.
Jamie Shevchuk, the two-time Cape Cod Baseball League champion in 2017 and 2021. His team winners of the East Division last year. He'll be coaching the All-Star game on Saturday at Harwich. One of the most well-respected managers in the league. But this summer against Orleans has not liked a couple of the calls against his team. And for the second time in 5 games against the Birds, Jamie Shevchuk exits stage left. Colin Tuft, we should call him Colin Bunt. He lays it down. Eddie King gunned down at second. Tuft reaches first safely. So after all of that, the same exact result on the next pitch.
We're in the same spot.
And the dugout continuing to have words after an unbelievable sequence of baseball here from Eldredge. And again, John Budka behind the dish saying, we're not doing it. Settle down. What's done is done. And we're back to playing baseball on a full-time basis here. Give credit to the entirety of his Brewster team to get the same exact result on the next pitch, even after that lengthy break.
Yeah, bunt by Tuft was right back to the mound. You didn't want to do that. You wanted to either put it down first base or third base line.
Back to the top of the order with Joe Oyama. After Tuft reached on the fielder's choice, and Eddie King, for the second time in 5 minutes, thrown out at second. Oyama puts this one on the ground towards second, through to the outfield for a base hit. Joe Oyama. He does it every single night. Multiple hits, single in the third, now a single in the seventh. 2 on, 1 out for Orleans. 5th hit of the night for the Birds.
Such a sweet swing. Right back up the middle. This is a situation the Firebirds have been in before. In the 6th, they had 2 on with nobody out. In the 4th, they had 2 on, nobody out. Now there is 1 out. They got to find a way to get the runs in, and they got the people to do it. Rubin and then Penny, 2 and 3 in the order.
Rubin grounded out in the first. Drove in a run on a fielder's choice in the third. Walked in the 6th. He has reached in all of his 9 games with the Orleans Firebirds. A breath of fresh air at the top of this order. The 1-0 at the knees in for a strike. 1-1.
Rubin's knee almost got touched there by the ball. Takes a strike. He stands close to the plate.
That right knee very close to the inside corner of the plate. And that pitch in a similar spot, and the same result from Rocco Reed, who's now pitched a full inning. Hasn't given up an earned run. Gave up a run last inning. Drew Farreau on another fielder's choice. Drove in a run. Runner on second is Tuft. Runner on first is Oyama. On the ground, shot towards Diaz at third. He throws his second for 1, and holding on to it is second baseman Peyton Green as Diaz is down after making a good play. He holds the back of his right leg. And the training staff instantly comes out to support him.
He charged the ball, and the grass is pretty wet. It's not dry because yesterday was a rainstorm. I think he slipped. That's what I saw when he threw the ball. He slipped down, and he immediately, like you said, grabbed the back of that right leg.
Good news is he's instantly back up on his feet and smiling. You never want to see an injury, and you never want to see it in summer ball. The acting manager of this squad also coming out to have a quick word with Davis Diaz. Just a little bit of a spark in that upper right leg, a flare-up maybe, after he made a great play to retire Joe Oyama at second. Colin Tuft moves to third, and again reaching on a fielder's choice is Justin Rubin at first. It's the second time he's gotten on with the fielder's choice tonight. And now Jack Penny to the plate with runners on the corners and 2 out. But it seems like Rocco Reed's not going to be the pitcher to face Penny, as Brewster's pitching coach, Brian Del Rosso, who's been a long-time Jamie Shevchuk assistant, heads out to the mound and either has a word with Reed or maybe he's going to substitute him. We don't know because Jamie Shevchuk no longer coaching in tonight's game. He just got tossed.
Reed is the lefty. He's going to face Penny. I don't think there's going to be a substitution at all. I think it's just going over matchups, first and third. What are you going to do there as well? You got to think about just different things, giving your team a reset in such a close game.
A long inning. Not a lot has happened. Is that really the fun fact for Jack Penny?
Look at that.
Played baseball growing up with Orleans Firebirds social media intern Lucas Smith. Lucas continues to find ways to work his way on a broadcast this year.
We got to get him on one day.
Well, we've got Brendan on.
We got Margaret on.
Yes, our photographer. Line drive, left field. Jack Penny delivers. Colin Tuft scores. Misplayed in left. Rubin slides in, and he is out at third. But Orleans extends the lead. 3-1 Birds. An RBI single roped in the left by Jack Penny to give Orleans some insurance, but the inning ends right there. A long inning. A manager tossed, bunts laid down, runners thrown out, and 1 run for Orleans. Birds extend the lead 3-1. We go to the bottom of the 7th, rather the top of the 8th on the Birds Broadcast Network.
What Cape home design will you dream up? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
For the skim board, 265-924, 265-924. And for half the money, with the winner going home with $730 tonight, 263-422, 263-422. If you have that number or any of the other numbers that I just read, go to the 50-50 table behind the home dugout. Your attention please now, pitching for the Firebirds from Harvard University, number 28, Sean Matson.
And we saw him in the field. I'm like, oh, watch, I'll yell out to Carlos, and he's just going to totally ignore us. So right over. So now we work for LLP. He came right over. I was talking to like Sam's like, that's unbelievable. Like, so we got the phone.
Leading off for Brewster, the catcher from Missouri, number 55 is Dylan Leach.
From one All-Star to another, Derek Clark, 7 innings pitched of 1-run baseball, and he's replaced by Sean Matson, the rising junior from Harvard, who owns a 0 ERA on the summer in just under 14 innings pitched. Last pitched in the 4-2 win against Bourne on Friday, as he deals a strike on the outer half to Dylan Leach, now 1-1. Pitched 2 scoreless frames and got his 3rd save of the summer. 17 strikeouts for Matson on the year. Misses outside, goes behind 2-1.
Derek Clark, final line, 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, no walks, 0 walks, 6 strikeouts.
Probably the best pitching performance from a Firebird this year.
Oh,
Derek
no doubt.
Clark.
No doubt. Bottom line.
Sean Matson, he's delivered some sensational performances as well to close out ball games. Trying to keep this 3-1 lead. Orleans brought a run across the board last inning. An RBI single from Jack Penny, and the inning ended with Justin Rubin being thrown out at third base. Colin Tuft came around the score. The 2-2, launched to first, haul back, dives, flips, Matson tiptoes and covers the bag to perfection. Dylan Leach retired to start the inning. He's now 0 for 3 tonight.
With an off day tomorrow, Kelly Nicholson's definitely looking to finish this one up, get the win, and get out of here with his best guys. When you go Clark for 7 innings and then hopefully you're looking for a 6-out save here from Matson, it's very rare that the Firebirds will lose a game with those two on the mound. Matson has been, what bad things can you say about him? A 0 ERA, he's been perfect.
Gave up 2 hits and walked 1 in 2 innings against Bourne on Friday. Didn't matter. Struck out 4. Didn't give up a run to close out that game. And who did he come in for in that game? Derek Clark.
That's right.
Showing bunt but pulling it away, taking a strike nonetheless. He's the bottom man of the order, Michael Robertson, who's 0 for 2 tonight with a ground out and a strikeout. Lefty against righty. Another weak ground ball. Jack Penny with 2 hands. Fields it, fires. And that's back-to-back ground outs from Sean Matson.
Matson has been so good. And right there, you see the changeup to the lefty Robertson. He's out in front, off the end of the bat. And Penny has an easy time with it. Now you go to the top of the order. This is where Matson really is needed. This is where the Firebirds want the best against the best.
It starts with Jonas Sebring. 0 for 3. He struck out each of his last 2 times, but that was against Derek Clark. Fastball misses high, 1-0. I touched on it when you were in the bathroom, and Brendan was filling in.
Okay, we're telling the secrets now.
I'm sorry. It's not a secret anymore.
No.
Matson works quickly, delivers a strike 1-1. Jamie Shevchak has compared Jonas Sebring to Zach Neto, a player who played here in Brewster 2 years ago in 2021, helped Shevchak and crew win a championship against the Bourne Braves. But there's his strike, and the man from UC Santa Barbara goes behind 1-2. Sean Matson trying to go 1-2-3 in the top of the 8th inning. Here's the pitch. Misses low, blocked up by Carp.
Matson has really used his slider a lot tonight. Usually a fastball, at times the changeup, and the slider that comes in here and there. But his pitch right now, he's feeling the slider, and it's looking good.
That pitch looked good, but it just missed high. And the count full to Sebring. The reason why Shevchak compared him to Zach Neto, who became the first member of the 2022 MLB draft class to make the major leagues, because of his offensive approach. Does not help him there. Sean Matson. He does it against anybody. I don't know who you can compare him to. The ERA stays perfect. 1-2-3 for the Philadelphia native. Keeps it 3-1 Orleans as we go to the bottom of the 8th on the Birds Broadcast Network.
Lower third for Derek Clark.
Your attention please now, pitching for Brewster from Texas Tech, number 50, Brendan.
Back on the Birds Broadcast Network in the bottom of the 8th inning. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore on the call. 4, 5, and 6 due up for Orleans, and it's a new pitcher in the ball game. Brendan Lysick from Texas Tech takes over after a couple frames from Rocco Reed. Gave up an earned run last inning, an RBI single to end the frame. From Jack Penny, also gave up an unearned run in the 6th inning on an RBI fielder's choice from Drew Farreau. But still a manageable ball game at 3-1.
100%. Lysick is in to throw a scoreless inning, which has only done 1 of 4 opportunities this season. 4 appearances, a 7 ERA in 5 innings. Has a lot of strikeouts, has 7 strikeouts, but also 5 walks and 5 hits in those 7 innings. Last time he pitched was a long time ago, 11 days ago against Harwich. He went 2 innings, 1 run. It was earned with 2 hits, 2 walks, and 4 Ks. So a lot of strikeout in there, but also a lot of walks and a little bit of hits.
Lysick trying to limit the hits. Not a lot of hits tonight for both teams combined. 6 hits for Orleans, 3 runs to show for, and an error, compared to just 1 run off 5 scattered hits, all of them off Derek Clark, for Brewster. Again, it's 4, 5, and 6 for the Birds, and it starts with Matt Hallback, who's been quiet, 0 for 2 with a foul out in the 2nd, a pop out in the 6th, and a walk in the 4th inning. Lysick, his 4th appearance on the summer. The former West Coast League star playing alongside Joe Oyama last summer with the Wenatchee Apple Sox. Those two continuing to get it done here at the top of the order for Kelly Nicholson's crew in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Oyama, he's been good tonight, 2 for 4 with a pair of singles. The 1-0 fouled away, 1-1.
And we talk about the Cape, and we make poking fun at Wareham sometimes because it's a long trip and it's off the Cape. That's about an hour drive from here in Orleans. In the West Coast League, Matt Hallback told me they had to fly to some of the places they had to play for a weekend series.
I can't believe that. I can't believe that any league has a travel budget for that.
Well, Wenatchee, which is right in the middle of the state of Washington, they had to go to Victoria, which is in British Columbia, Edmonton, etc. They had to go on the plane. They couldn't even bus because, of course, they have to go over the Canadian border. It's a lot of travel for a summer league. But Matt Hallback and Joe Oyama, they excelled over there, and they're excelling here as well.
They did. I mean, Hallback hit .330 across 33 games in the West Coast League. Drove in 29 runs as he takes that pitch low and in. Count 2 balls, 2 strikes. His head coach there with the Wenatchee Apple Sox, Mitchell Darlington, said this is the kind of guy you can build your lineup around. And he sat batting in 3rd or 4th for a good chunk of his season since he joined Orleans. Unfortunately, he goes down swinging there against the new pitcher Lysick, who you said was throwing heat this summer with plenty of strikeouts, and that theme continues for the Texas Tech standout here. First strikeout today for Hallback.
Lysick's job is to keep this right where it is at 3-1, a game that Brewster feels they can come back in. Now, Sean Matson has another idea, but Lysick's job is to get these 3 outs, and the matchups favor him as well.
Eddie Micheletti looks at the breaking ball in for a strike. 0-1. He's had one of his better games of the season. Walk in the 2nd and back-to-back singles since. He's reached all 3 times up. Swings at the 2nd pitch, and a good hit baseball, but it lands at the base of the hill. The same hill that he sat on when he showed up to Orleans Firebirds games growing up. A native of Delaware, just outside of Philadelphia. But his family had a summer house right here in the town of Orleans, and Micheletti now delivering for the team he grew up watching, trying to extend the 3-1 lead in the 8th. Takes a ball, 2-1 on the slider.
I don't want to take anything away from Eddie Micheletti, but I was talking with Owen Carpellotti, who's also in the lineup tonight. He said that his family's here, and they have 20 family members here. They got a house in Barnstable, about 40 minutes away from Orleans.
Eddie Micheletti hit by a pitch, and he feels it. That hit him up and in. Looks like it got a piece of that right shoulder, maybe that right wrist. But he's okay, although Kelly Nicholson slowly makes his way out to first base, now stops because Micheletti indicates he's good. A scary sight probably going to be a pinch runner for Eddie Micheletti, and it is. It's Kent State's Jake Casey who comes in off the bench after Micheletti reaches for the fourth and final time tonight. A great night for him.
Awesome, even after an 0 for 5 day yesterday. I think that was the move either way if Micheletti got on base or even in the field for the bottom of the inning, hit by pitch or not.
Casey 1 for 2 on stolen bases this summer. That pitch gets way away from Leach. Lysick starting to lose control out of a bullpen here in the 8th inning. Drew Farreau gets ahead 1-0, and Casey moves up and in the scoring position, trying to add on to a 2-run lead.
Ian, this is where my brain goes just because I'm crazy and know what happened in almost every game this year.
Oh, no.
This brings me back to opening night against Hyannis. Drew Farreau had an insurance single off the end of the bat over at McKeon Park, which pushed the game from 3-1 to 4-1. Where are we right now? 3-1.
Line drive, left field, down for a hit. Dylan knows what's going on. Jake Casey trying to trot on his way home. He's in there standing up. 4-1 Orleans. Drew Farreau delivered on opening night. Drew Farreau delivers here tonight against Brewster.
Now, against Hyannis, he was off the end of the bat. That one was off the barrel. A really good swing from Farreau, and he finally gets rewarded. It's been over and over, time and time again. He's hit balls hard, but hasn't gotten the hit, or the defense has made a really good play. Farreau gets rewarded, a big hit here in the 8th to make it a 3-run game.
6th run driven in on the summer. And now Owen Carpellotti with his whole family in town, sitting on the hill. The house in Barnstable, the party here tonight in Orleans, trying to celebrate potentially a 5th win in a row against the Whitecaps. Carpellotti puts one on the ground towards second, fielded by Green, flips for one, back to first, cannot get 2. Carpellotti beats it out as it popped out of a glove of Brock Tibbetts. Forced out is Drew Farreau after his run-scoring single.
Green was a little bit nonchalant with it there. Went backhanded flip to second to Sebring, who had to catch it in midair, touch the bag, and throw to first without his feet below him. That made the difference, and Carpellotti beats it out.
Eddie King tries to keep the good times rolling in the bottom of the 8th with 1 on and 2 out. 8th man in the order. First pitch swinging, he goes behind. King 0 for 2 tonight with a fly out and a ground out. Walked his last time up in the 7th inning. Orleans extending the lead to 3 here in the bottom of the 8th off an RBI single down the left field line from Drew Farreau, which scored the pinch runner Jake Casey in for Eddie Micheletti after he got on with a hit by pitch. King behind in the count, 0-2 with 2 outs. Trying to keep it a 3-run game is Brewster. Lysick can't. He misses low and in.
And another inning for Brennan Lysick. He gives up a run. What does it start with? An Eddie Micheletti hit by pitch. Casey takes second on the wild pitch. And then a single. Small ball. Wins.
Pop up to right, foul. Lysick has given up an earned run in 3 of his 4 appearances this summer. With a 6'4", 220-pound lefty from Texas Tech, trying to keep it at just 1 run. Runner on first, Owen Carpellotti, the catcher, who gets on via the fielder's choice and waves his left hand over his right knee. The 1-2 misses outside. And another good at bat from Eddie King, in which he falls behind early, but doesn't go down early.
Ian, I think back to the at-bat in the 5th inning. He led off the 5th with a ground out to second, and you scoff at it. You say, oh, why was that at-bat special? It was a 7-pitch at-bat, and that really had Swilling work.
Carson Swilling went 5 1/3. Still looking for his 3rd out of the inning is Brendan Lysick. But once again, a good at-bat. Begins 0-2, ends full. Carpellotti on the move with 2 outs. He's the only base runner on. Lysick's payoff. Swung on and missed. Second strikeout of the inning for Lysick, who begins the inning with the strikeout, ends the inning with a K. But in between, a hit by pitch of Eddie Micheletti and a run-scoring single for Drew Farrow. Orleans trying to get to over 500 for the first time in 34 days. A 4-1 lead in the top of the ninth. And Sean Matson on the mound. You've got to feel good, and you've got to stick around. Sean Matson went 1-2-3 in the eighth, trying to do the same in the ninth and pick up his fourth save of the summer. He faces 2, 3, and 4 for Brewster. It starts with a third baseman, Davis Diaz, who takes a strike, a well-located pitch low and away to the righty, 0-1.
Matson now with a 3-run lead, has to feel a little bit better and a little bit more free. Can make a few errors, and it gives pitchers a lot of confidence that they can pitch with a 3-run lead. One mistake won't kill them.
Diaz 0 for 3 tonight. There's a strike on the outer half. 3 groundouts. 1 to first, 1 to third, 1 to second. Distributing it around the infield. Takes a ball, 2-2. The heater misses outside. The lead extended for Orleans with a Drew Farrow RBI single last inning, which scored the pinch runner Jay Casey. Foul ball. Speaking of which, Casey is taken over in left field for Eddie Micheletti, who exited the game after he was hit by pitch and Casey pinch ran for him. And coming in off the bench and taking over in right for Colin Tuft is Fenwick Trimble. So the corner outfielders swapped, everything else the same. The 2-2, foul tip, swing, and a miss. Back-to-back Ks for Sean Matson, 4 up and 4 down against the All-Star in Orleans, 2 outs away.
Matson looks so good every time he's out there, and also had 3 days of rest. So it gives him some rest, even though he's been so good to take care of his arm. Also off day for the Firebirds tomorrow.
Brock Tibbetts first pitch swinging. He goes behind 0-1. The Birds off tomorrow, return to action on the road Wednesday against a team it beat on Friday in the Bourne Braves. Meanwhile, Brewster making up a game at YD. There's his strike 0-2. Tibbetts has been great tonight. Singled in the first. Had his first home run of the summer in the fourth to bring aboard the only run of the game for Brewster. He grounded out his last time up. And he strikes out here. The curve. He looks at it and goes down looking. 3 straight strikeouts for Sean Matson. 5 up, 5 down against the Harvard Crimson. He just continues to get it done in dominant fashion as Kelly Nicholson's closer.
And Tibbetts was the only one who's done anything tonight. The only one with an extra base hit as well for Brewster.
First pitch, rock to right. That's something done for Brewster. It drops by Eddie King for a hit. James Tibbs, he's had a good night too. That's 3 singles for the Florida State star. And he keeps Brewster alive with 2 outs in the top of the ninth.
Just kills the Firebirds. What's new? Another James Tibbs good night. Right? But it's so big that Matson got the first 2 guys out, because you bring up a guy like Jared Jones who can put the ball over the fence. But even if he did right now, the Firebirds would still be up.
Runner on the move. Hit and run attempt unsuccessful as Jones fouls it away. And some lucky fan's going to snag that ball from the LSU star.
Well, Tibbs is looking to take second on defensive indifference. Not sure why Jones swung right there, as he has to have the runner to go back. He's trying to take the force away at second, if he takes second.
Jones 0 for 3 tonight. Runner goes again, and Carpellotti tried to throw, but then lost it.
Wouldn't that be cool? A runner thrown out to end the game.
In front of his entire family, Owen Carpellotti does not make the play, but just an out away from celebrating from the fam. Tibbs off second after he singled a ball and a strike to Jones. This one is launched to left field, moving towards his right, making the catch at the wall. Jake Casey says goodnight. Orleans above 500 for the first time in over a month, and you can see it on his face. It feels sweet. 5-0 on the year against Brewster. That's got to feel sweeter. A 4-1 win at home. The Birds, their 15th win on the summer.
What a better way to end it, right? Casey comes in, he scores the 4th run, and like he did last night with the diving play in foul territory, he goes over and he makes another big catch. And we want to talk about the offense. 4 runs tonight. Not a lot, but enough to win, and they did so well hitting situationally. But you got to talk about the defense and the pitching, which has carried this team the entire way. 1 run for this Brewster lineup tonight. 6 hits. The pitching tonight, Derek Clark for 7 innings. Oh, man. And then Sean Matson with the 6-out save.
It's so difficult to win a game against the Firebirds, like you mentioned in the middle of that inning, when both Derek Clark and Sean Matson pitch. And Dylan, it kind of reminds me of Clark's first appearance on the year against Bourne, where he came out of a bullpen and pitched 4 innings. You know, after the 5th inning, we thought his night would be over. After the 6th inning, we thought his night would be over. It never ended with Derek Clark, but it also never got worse. He was on top of his game.
He was really good, and he told me before the game he had 60, 65 hit him. Well, he had a little bit more than that. And Derek Clark, who, lefty, righty, switch hitter, doesn't matter. Derek Clark was really good tonight, and he got better as well as the night went on. A little bit of trouble in that 4th inning, but what's a little bit of trouble to Derek Clark, but 2 hits back-to-back, one being a home run. After that, sensational. That's all you can say.
Offense, not sensational, but got the job done. 13 hits in this game between these two teams. Orleans only 1 more hit than Brewster, but Dylan, it was a lot of really good situational hitting tonight for the Firebirds. I mean, multiple RBIs off fielders' choices. Justin Rubin in the 3rd, and then Drew Farrow in the 6th. The ball was in play often. Brewster was good defensively, but they allowed a lot of traffic on the base paths.
They did, and it was through walks, it was through hits as we bring you inside the broadcast booth here behind home plate. A quick game as well, only 8:37 on the clock. We started at 6:30. But what are you going to talk about? We talk about the pitching. Situational hitting has been something that the Firebirds haven't done well in losses, and especially sometimes in wins this season. Tonight was all situational hitting. It doesn't take a home run. It doesn't take a double. Sometimes it just takes a ball in play.
Sometimes it takes a ball in play. Other times it takes a run-scoring single from Jack Penny in the 8th inning. We're going to try to grab him for an interview here on Cooling Down after the 4-1 win for Orleans. There's a reason why he's starting in the All-Star game.
It's been so good, and the word that I use for him is clutch and very disciplined. He does not do anything fancy. He's very fundamentally sound. He gets clutch hits. I mean, another single here, goes to the opposite field, drives in that 3rd run, which really separated the game from 2-1 to 3-1. I think that was a huge hit, and it was a big turning point in this game.
A big turning point. Orleans, a low-scoring affair early on, a pitcher's duel between Carson Swilling and Derek Clark, and ultimately it ended in the favor of the Firebirds. As we go back to the field here, just to get the sights and sounds of what is a fantastic win for Orleans. What does it mean to be over 500 for this team? I know these guys might not be looking at the standings as closely as we do, but to continue to push Harwich for number 2 in the East Division behind YD, and just mentally to prove you can get over 500 in a league where it's very difficult to say that's got to mean something.
Oh, 100%. I mean, we look through this season, it's been a lot of, there was a 2-week phase where the Firebirds went win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. I think that was the right amount of win-losses. But it was so hard. You got to 500, then you went a game below, and then they had a 3-game losing streak. They went 3 below. 3-game winning streak followed that to finally get above 500. It's almost like a breath of fresh air to get your head over water. now they can start to get going here. I mean, the off day tomorrow, which is nice for, of course, everybody to get restful and enjoy their day on the Cape. It's supposed to be good weather as well.
Yes.
But you talk about a win today, you make it 2 in a row. This team, even in losses, I mean, we talked about it yesterday, and even with the Wareham walk-off loss, they compete in losses. They're not laying down and losing 8-1 or 8-2. We'll give you some out-of-town scores in a little bit as well, so stick around along with the post-game interview. But this team is just competing every single night, no matter who's in the lineup. There's, what do we have, 13, 14 position players, and all of them come out and bring some type of impact. Maybe it's not putting the ball over the fence. Maybe it's not even putting the ball in play, but everyone has a role on this team.
We continue cooling down here on the Birds Broadcast Network. First of all, you mentioned the weather good tomorrow, 78 degrees, low of 72. Sounds good to me. I know you and I are probably going to hit up the Barnstable County Fair.
Yeah, meet your broadcasters if you want to come meet us at the fair.
If you want to meet us, we'll be holding court. Even though it's not about us, it's about the Firebirds who pick up a big 4-1 win tonight. And Dylan, looking at some around-the-league scores, one stands out to me. YD takes down Harwich 7-3 from White House Field. And with that loss for Harwich and the win tonight for Orleans, tied at second place in the East Division, and Orleans has a few games in hand.
We'll tell you this, Ian. Firebirds, who came in down 1 point in the division, they're now in second place solely.
I've never been good at math.
We've talked about this. Firebirds now have 30 points. Harwich stays at 29 with the loss. Huge win for the Birds. They move to second place. Yes, it's early, this and that. It's big to finally get into second place. They've been chasing Harwich all this time. And Harwich, who loses the East Division battle to Yarmouth. Dennis, the Red Sox, going more around the league. This is a shocker. And I don't think you're going to believe me with this, Ian. A 7-inning affair between Bourne and Cotuit, a team that has won 8 straight before last night where they lost to the Firebirds. They lost 14-3 to the Bourne Braves in 7 innings. The Braves took it to them. So Cotuit now on a 2-game losing streak. Chatham and Wareham taking on each other. Top of the 8th, Chatham and Wareham tied at 3. Falmouth took on Hyannis at McKeon Park today, a West Division matchup. Hyannis won 10-2. And then, of course, the final here, 4-1 with Orleans in front.
Yeah, that Cotuit-Bourne final is definitely surprising. I think Bourne, I think, has the opportunity to make a run in the West Division because I don't want to say Orleans dealt the death blow, but, you know, as we're about to get Jack Penny on here on the Birds Broadcast Network, but he's a popular man. He has a little kid asking for his autograph.
I would want his autograph, too, if I was a fan.
You could ask for it. You'll be doing the interviewing with him. The last thing I'll say before you interview Jack is, you know, Cotuit had an 8-game win streak last year, whatever season end. First round of the playoffs. Not saying Cotuit can't make a deep run this year as I head off the mic, but look, in this league, it doesn't matter how good you're doing now. It matters how good you're doing at the end of the year. And somebody who's going to be with this team throughout the year, Jack Penny. Jack, here's the mic.
Jack Penny on with us on the Cooling Down on the Birds Broadcast Network. Jack, what a game. 2 straight for the Birds. And I don't mean to not talk about you, number one, but we got to talk about Derek Clark to start. 7 strong from the starting pitcher. The best pitching performance from a Firebird starting pitcher tonight. What can you say from him? You were watching him at third base.
Yeah, unreal performance. Probably the best starting performance we've had all year, all summer. He had his stuff working, all pitches, all zones. And the biggest thing was just keep the momentum on our side and keep us out of the dugout, or keep them out of the dugout. And then just keeping us being able to have good at-bats and then work off Derek's good pitching. And then having those quick outs is good, and he's always in the zone, too, so we trust him with everything.
You guys have had Brewster's number this year, 4-0 before tonight, now make it 5-0. What is it against these guys?
I think this the first 2 games we were able to play well, and then we just build on that confidence the rest of the times we played them. We know that what they bring to the table now, and we're pretty familiar with them, obviously. So I think we just play our game. We know that if we do, then we'll have a good result, and not trying to worry about too much all at once. So then just take care of the little things, and all big things will take care of themselves.
An RBI single for you to make it 3-1 to extend that lead. You've been clutch for this team all year. When you come up in those situations with a runner on second, 2 outs, or stress could happen, how do you feel out there? How do you calm your heart rate?
Yeah, I breathe before every pitch. I have a routine that I do when I get up to the plate. I try not to think about too much in those pressure situations. I just try to have a good at-bat, see a good pitch, have one over the plate when I have a runner in scoring position. Not try to have a big swing, just try to get the bat to the ball and put a good swing.
Another guy who had a few RBIs tonight, Drew Farreau. He struggled a bit in the early part of the year, but he's gotten unlucky. Tonight he finally got the result to get the RBI single in the 8th to put you guys up 4-1. What are you seeing from him, a guy who's so mentally tough and really getting better at his game?
Yeah, he works hard every day. Before we get to the field, before even the rest of the guys are at the field, he's at the field working with the coaches. And I'm seeing that. I'm starting to appreciate that. But he's been working hard all summer. He's stayed through it. Obviously in the field, he's been really good for us. And then the last couple of weeks, he's been having really, really good team ABs, and it's helped us a lot.
So, Jack, I'll leave you with this. You were named an All-Star starter 2 days ago. We haven't been able to talk to you about that yet. What does that mean to you to be starting in the All-Star game Saturday at Harwich?
It's an honor, really, and it's a privilege to play for the town of Orleans. It's kind of what I'm proud of the most, to be able to represent in the whole town. Hopefully enough of us show up and show out. I know we got a couple other guys on the team, but it's a privilege for me to play and represent.
Jack Penny, your All-Star starter at third base for the East team. Jack, thank you so much for joining us. 4-1 win for the Birds as we continue here on Cooling Down. You go celebrate with the boys.
Thank you.
We'll get Ian back on here as we wrap it up here on the Birds Broadcast Network. A 4-1 win for the Firebirds tonight. Ian, we talked pitching, we talked hitting. I think we got to give a little bit more love to Drew Farreau, whose results are really starting to find the way here.
Oh, 100%. I mean, Drew Farreau did not have a good start to the summer. He'd probably be the first one to tell you that, but I don't think anybody has had a greater turnaround from the start of the season to now like him. He is here for a reason. He is here to improve as a baseball player and to go to Florida State as a much more well-rounded player. And tonight, not only was his defense good at shortstop, but also just came up in big spots late in the game. I mean, started the game strong. I know I wouldn't look at it, 0 for 2, but he had a couple of deep flies to the outfield. You could feel like something was brewing there. Then comes up and drives in a run with a fielder's choice in the 6th, but came away with a big knock, a single in the 8th to get things going and to give this team some insurance. I mean, not only Penny, who you just interviewed, but Farreau with 2 huge hits. We've been waiting for this team to come up with big knocks late in the game to put teams away. And although it was a low-scoring affair tonight, that's all Orleans needed to get the win.
They only needed 4 runs. They got 7 hits. We'll wrap it up here on Cooling Down. Of course, we got to pay the bills. To our post-game sponsor, Mazzio Construction, a 4-1 final with Orleans taking this one tonight. Orleans moves to 15-14 on the year. Ian, what do you got for us?
We got Mazzio Construction LLC, who's worked hard to build a resume for itself. Let them put their knowledge, experience, and passion together to work for you. Their team is committed to exceed your expectations. New home, addition to existing home, renovation, they handle it all. They work close with their clients to make sure that all your needs are met. They're honest, on time with schedule, and passionate about what they do. Give them a call. Let them introduce you to their work. Let's see how they can help you. Mazzio Construction, the official post-game sponsor on Cooling Down here for the Birds Broadcast Network. Orleans, like Dylan said, improves to 15-14 on the year. The first time the Firebirds can say they're over 500 in 34 days. The Whitecaps drop to 11-18-2. Back in action tomorrow on the road against the best team in the East Division in the Yarmouth Dennis. You can find us at 5:45 from Eldredge Park on Wednesday night when Orleans tries to take down Bourne for the second time in a week. But until then, stay well, enjoy your Monday night, and know that the Firebirds are hot with a 3-game win streak.